Chapter 722. What happened next could not be considered a war at all. All the territories of the leaders of Zhongzhou state added up were more than 2 west continents, the population was 5 or 6 west continents, and the army was more than tens of millions. However, they had lost all their morale. The moment they were completely betrayed by the Vulture Palace, the leaders of Zhongzhou state had completely lost all their fighting spirit. Therefore, the so-called War of Zhongzhou state was like boiling water splashed on snow, melting in an instant. When the 5 armies of the Council of Light entered Zhongzhou state from all directions, they almost did not encounter any decent resistance. All the troops collapsed at the first touch. After these troops surrendered, they did not even change their clothes and flags. They directly picked up their weapons and charged all the way with the army of the Council of Light. For the army of Zhongzhou state, there was no psychological barrier to surrendering to Yang Dingtian at all. The middle and low-level armies in this world were Yang Dingtian's most solid supporters. Therefore, the army of the Council of Light increased as they fought all the way. From 5 million, it increased to 10 million, and then to 20 million. The only one who was unhappy should be Song Shao, the commander-in-chief of this War of Zhongzhou state. Damn it, he was ready to raise his butcher's knife and wash Zhongzhou state with blood. As a result, the other party surrendered before he raised his knife. What was even more outrageous was that as soon as his army arrived in front of their city, the city gate opened without saying a word. Then a group of guides came out and took him directly into the city. That was not all. The most outrageous thing was, before he arrived in the city, all the troops had gathered outside the city. At first, Song Shao was ecstatic, thinking that there was a great war to fight. As soon as he arrived, the neat army of Zhongzhou state immediately shouted excitedly, "Long live the Council of Light, long live Yang Dingtian." Then, he could not wait to change the flag of the territory to the flag of the Council of Light. This was not the most outrageous thing. In the end, he was still hundreds of miles away from a territory to be attacked. In the end, the army in the other party's territory rushed right in front of them. From their flags to their armor and badges, they changed everything to the Council of Light. This caused many of the Council of Light's generals to feel extremely depressed. You guys are the ones leading the way. Not only did you guys prepare your own flags and weapons, you even prepared your own clothes and rations. This is too much. Previously, Song Shao had been holding back his anger, wanting to fight a great battle. Hence, he had always been at the forefront. Half a month later, he left the front line. He couldn't stand the excitement anymore. What kind of war was this? They were simply taking everything in. With regards to this situation, Yang Dingtian had never expected it. It was only at this moment that everyone fully understood the power of the public opinion of the chaos times. This was truly the will of the people. Unknowingly, he had won the hearts of all the middle and low-level martial artists and soldiers in Zhongzhou state. Yang Dingtian did not have a good reputation among the people. He had done many things that crossed the line. However, his image was welcomed by the soldiers like never before. In order to save his fiancée, he dared to go to the territory of evil ways. After being pushed down by Dugu Fengwu, he actually dared to acknowledge Dugu Shao as his father-in-law. In short, all the stains on Yang Dingtian were things that all the soldiers yearned for. They wanted him to become a person of flesh and blood. He would not be like Wu Yuming, who was always illusory and high above. Of course, in the eyes of the higher-ups of Zhongzhou state, Yang Dingtian and Wu Yuming were the exact opposite. Most of the leaders of Zhongzhou state did not have a good impression of Yang Dingtian. The reason was very simple. It was because Yang Dingtian wanted to touch their lifeblood and take away their army and territory. In the face of such a situation, countless Zhongzhou state troops changed sides. Yang Dingtian, who was supposed to be idle, suddenly became extremely busy. He could not disappoint the hearts of these Zhongzhou state troops. They definitely did not change sides because they were afraid of death. They changed sides because they truly yearned for and agreed with him. Such an army would be the backbone of the future Doomsday War and resist evil ways. Therefore, in the end, it was basically Yang Dingtian who went to different cities every day to take over different armies. When he met with countless soldiers, he did not give any speeches. He just went to talk to the generals and representatives of these defected armies. In the end, the entire war of Zhongzhou state was completely anticlimactic at the beginning, because there was almost no decent war. In the end, Yang Dingtian alone was not enough to take over these cities. The leaders of the Council of Light were all working round the clock. The entire Council of Light did not fully estimate this situation. Therefore, the specific division of administrative areas, the allocation of officials, the land policy, and other matters had not really started yet. Therefore, they had to urgently transfer hundreds of thousands of people from the West continent to the reorganization of Zhongzhou state. Tang Guizhou and Song Lihua once again entered into an inhuman work. The so-called reorganization before was just scratching an itch. They could only issue orders to the various leaders and vassals. They could not even really supervise the execution of the orders. In total, he had only done two things. The first was the division of defense areas. The second was the establishment of the Zhongzhou State Army. As a result, the duel began before the second thing was completed. Because they were not optimistic about Yang Dingtian, the leaders of the forces of Zhongzhou State all turned to Yang Dingtian, causing the construction of the defense areas and the Zhongzhou State Army to be directly stopped. Now, the Council of Light directly took over a complete Zhongzhou state. All the forces that did not side with the Council of Light, all the vassals, were wiped out. A huge power vacuum appeared in the entire Zhongzhou state in an instant. The Council of Light had many discussions and finally decided. All the first and second-tier forces of the Tiando League and forces with martial arts sect attributes would still be preserved. However, a large number of territories would be reduced and replaced with the shares of the Central Chamber of Commerce of the Tiando League and the gold shares of the Tiando League. All the purely territorial forces with vassals would be abolished and transformed into provinces, states, and counties. The Council of Light would directly send civil and military officials to govern. All the territories obtained from the rebellious vassals would be distributed to the civilians according to the way of the southwest mainland, and all the serfs would be liberated. The Tiando League would unify the harvest, business tax, and agricultural tax. All the strategic resources in the territories would be unified and owned by the Tiando League. In short, this was an extremely tedious work. It would take hundreds of thousands, millions, tens of millions of people, and a few years to completely reorganize it. However, the Tiando League's order to reorganize Zhongzhou state had just been issued. The entire Zhongzhou state was completely boiling. Especially the serfs and civilians at the bottom, they instantly became the propertied class with land. As for the people in the cities, the benefits were not so great, but at least they were not harmed and were still the same as before. Influenced by the people of Zhongzhou state and intimidated by the power of the Council of Light, they also raised both hands in approval. Another group of people who benefited were the middle and low-level soldiers of Zhongzhou state, the warriors. Their salaries, fields, and houses were almost several times higher than before. The bottom-level army of Zhongzhou state was the same as the army of West Continent before. It was all because their families were poor and could not support them, so they sent the strong and healthy to the vassals to serve as soldiers and receive a meager salary, mainly to eat their fill. Today, the army of the Council of Light completely adopted the meritorious service system. The more meritorious service accumulated, the more generous the treatment. Moreover, the promotion channel was incomparably smooth. Even the son of a serf could be a staff leader, commander, or even general. It was not like before, when all the officers were controlled by the children of the vassals in the territory. Even a pig could be a commander. Therefore, as soon as the rectification edict of the Council of Light came out, those troops and people in the remote territories and cities of Zhongzhou state could not wait any longer. When they were still thousands of miles away from the Council of Light army, they changed the flags of the cities themselves. They could not wait to raise the flags of the Council of Light in all the towns and cities. They directly arrested the families and minions of the vassals, sealed all the accounts, and sealed all the accounts in boxes, waiting for the people of the Council of Light to come and take them. Therefore, it was a huge war of Zhongzhou state. In less than half a month, the victory had been completely decided. In less than 2 months, it was completely over. Of course, the real tedious rectification work had just begun. As for the leaders and vassals of Zhongzhou state, they could have used their territories to exchange for shares of the Tiando League's Central Chamber of Commerce and the gold accounts. Now they could not even exchange these. However, the Council of Light did not completely exterminate them. They let the families of the vassals enter various cities with a large sum of money and quietly live there. The general policy of the Council of Light was to take back the territories and the army. However, they could let the vassals keep a larger proportion of their property so that their families could maintain a good life. Of course, even under such circumstances, it was inevitable to kill people. Among them, Wu Yoming's hardcore supporters, who were complete enemies of the Council of Light, could not be let off. They were completely destroyed mentally and physically. Not only that, but those who had done many evil things in the territories before would also be imprisoned or executed according to the laws of the Tiando League. Therefore, although the Council of Light had been relatively lenient, they still killed a large number of people. They killed until rivers of blood flowed in the execution ground of Zhongjing. As for the leaders of the fence-sitters, their Xian meridians were locked, and they were half-monitored. They were half free and half under house arrest. As for the leaders of the first-tier and second-tier martial arts forces of the Tiando League, they had all replaced their leaders, and the Tiando League publicly appointed them. The original leaders were either put under house arrest or imprisoned. In short, the Council of Light was very cautious against those with high cultivation and would not easily kill them. Even so, there were still countless leaders, and vassals who fled and went into exile. However, the entire chaotic world now belonged to the Council of Light. Even if they wanted to go into exile, they could not find a place to go. Therefore, they all chose a place, and that was the Dongli grassland. Some leaders ignored their old grudges and went into exile in the southern barbarian continent. But no matter what, after this so-called Great War of the Central Continent, Yang Dingtian's Council of Light truly unified the entire chaotic world, the entire human countries for the first time. The outcome of the Great War of the Central Continent was countless times better than expected. At almost the smallest price, the smallest number of casualties, those cities and lands that contained the most essence of humanity were conquered. Just from this point alone, Yang Dingtian's achievements had already surpassed the past leaders of the hidden sect, including Nihility Piaoling. Because no leader of the hidden sect, no leader of the Tiando League, had truly unified the chaotic world, had truly gathered all the fighting forces of the chaotic world, and had not united everyone in the chaotic world. But Yang Dingtian had done it. He had truly unified the entire human countries. And from start to finish, it had only taken slightly more than 3 years. Among them, although his personal martial arts cultivation had played a crucial role in some key points, from the entire process of unifying the chaotic world, the effect of his personal martial arts cultivation was next to nothing. The only reason he had truly accomplished this great task was one word: Tao. A just cause enjoys abundant support, while an unjust cause finds little support. Using the greatest effort, the greatest tolerance, to obtain the support of the greatest number of people, to unite the majority of people. Therefore, from Qin Huayu, Zhu Hongxue, Song Shao, Qin Wanchou, Qiu Wanjie, Yun Kailin, Zhua Qingqi, and countless others, they had all turned from enemies to comrades. Of course, there was also a group of people that Yang Dingtian had never been able to successfully turn from enemies to comrades. For example, the Vulture Palace, or the Netherworld Sea. Within these few months, Yang Dingtian's Council of Light had always entered the craziest and busiest state. Countless people were working hard to reorganize the central continent. As for Ling Wu, within these few months, she had constantly distanced herself from the central continent, getting further and further away. She steered a small crystal ship and searched island by island to find traces of Wu Yuming. By the time the central continent had started the war and the Council of Light had entered the southern middle continent, she was already 30,000 miles away from the southern middle continent. At this moment, it had already been 100 days since she had left the central continent to search for Wu Yuming. At this moment, she was already more than 70,000 miles away from the human countries. At this moment, the sea region that she had entered could no longer be found on the map. Furthermore, the clean water, food, and elixirs that she had brought were almost used up. However, she still hadn't given up. She also wouldn't give up. At the instant Wu Yuming was defeated, the entire world had given up on Wu Yuming. This included the Netherworld Sea, the Vulture Palace, and even his wife, the Vulture. It was just like how the entire world had given up on Ling Wu when she had left Yangdingtian. The words that Wu Yuming had said to her had been engraved in her heart until now. You have to finish the path that you've chosen even if you have to kneel down. Otherwise, you'll be worthless. Before the duel, how glorious was Wu Yuming? He was only one step away from the pinnacle of the entire world. Almost the entire world was prostrating at his feet. At the moment of his defeat, he had instantly lost everything. Everyone could abandon Wu Yuming, but Ling Wu couldn't. Because once she abandoned Wu Yuming, it was equivalent to abandoning herself. Therefore, she would continue to search until Wu Yuming's death. In this unfamiliar sea region, Ling Wu raised her head to take a look. It was a rotting island with an overwhelming stench. She then looked inside the ship. The water was all gone, the food was all gone, and the elixirs were all gone. If she still couldn't find Wu Yuming on this island, then she wouldn't leave either. She would die on this rotting island. Chapter 723. This was a rotten island. From top to bottom, from inside to outside, everything was rotten. Every step she took was as disgusting as a puddle of mud. The entire island emitted an unbearable stench. There were all kinds of strange things in the boundless universe. She really didn't know how such an island was formed. Furthermore, it only had one color. After being dried by the sun, the thick blood had a nearly jet-black color. Just like this, Ling Wu walked towards the island, one step at a time. That small crystal-powered boat of hers was being pushed by the waves and gradually drifted away. She didn't care about it at all. The disgusting mud on the island was getting deeper and deeper. It was almost buried up to her thighs. She continued to walk blindly towards the inside. She continued to walk. That's right, she was walking blindly. When she first left the central continent, she still held on to hope to find Wu Yuming. 10 days, 20 days, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. After more than 100 days, she had actually almost given up hope. Of course, giving up hope wasn't equivalent to giving up on searching. She continued to search numbly like this. Perhaps she wasn't looking for Wu Yuming anymore. Instead, she was persevering in a kind of suffering. Once she gave up, it would be equivalent to betraying herself. Just like how she couldn't turn back from the moment she left Yang Dingtian's side. Once she turned back, it would be equivalent to betraying herself. The deeper she looked, the deeper she went. The disgusting mud of blood gradually buried her thighs, her waist, her chest, and her throat. If she took another step forward, her mouth, nose, and eyes would be completely buried. Then she would stop. She would die. When she was very young, she had heard a story told by her mother. It was said that there was a kind of bird that didn't have legs. Therefore, it could only fly continuously. When it stopped flying, it would die. She didn't know when it started, but Ling Wu felt that she was like this legless bird. She couldn't find sustenance or a place to land. Just like that, she kept flying until she died. Alright, then I'll die like this. Goodbye, Yang Dingtan. Ling Wu took a step forward and waited for the disgusting mud of blood to drown her eyes and life. However, after she took a step forward, not only did she not continue to go offline, she floated up instead. Because she seemed to have stepped on something. At this moment, she was already numb and unable to react. After stepping on it, she even used all her strength to press down. Then, with a sudden thought, he stretched out his hand, grabbed that thing and pulled it out. This was a person. Oh no, this is a ghost. Because he no longer looked like a human from head to toe. His entire body was rotting. In fact, it was even more rotting than the entire island. It was extremely disgusting and smelly. He was motionless, so he should be dead. Ling Wu loosened her grip, and it sank down just like that, remaining motionless. However, his eyes seemed to be open, but they were covered by blood. Ling Wu extended her hand to wipe away the blood and mud in his eyes. Immediately, a pair of eyes that were like a dry well was revealed. They were deep and profound, Yet there wasn't any radiance or focal distance. His face could no longer be seen. It was all rotten. Only a pair of eyes that looked like dried wells were still intact. Seeing that he was about to sink completely, Ling Wu lifted him up once again, allowing him to float above the disgusting bloody mud. However, he still remained motionless and continued to sink. Ling Wu lifted him up once again. However, he sank down again very quickly and remained motionless. "Are you dead?" Ling Wu asked. "I'm dead." That person replied. "If you're dead, why can you still speak?" Ling Wu asked. "Even if I'm dead, I can still speak." That person replied. Even when he was speaking, his mouth didn't move at all. His eyes didn't move at all as well. Ling Wu looked at him for a while and said, "Since you're dead, then I'm dead too. Let's die together." Ling Wu laid down beside him and sank down together with him. Finally, that person's eyes moved as he said, "You don't have to die. You're already dead. I'm worthless in this world. There's no meaning in living anymore." Ling Wu said. That person said, "You can go and find the person you love. You can go and find Yang Dingtian." Ling Wu said, "I won't go. Back then, I didn't go to Cloud Heaven City to look for him. Now, I won't go to the central capital to look for him." That person looked over and said, "Do you love him?" Ling Wu was silent for a moment before she said, "I'll only love one person in this lifetime. I can only love one person. It's not that I'm loyal and faithful. But once I change my feelings, all of my actions will become laughable and shameful. Only by loving him can I be justified in my actions. Only by loving him can I maintain the pride in my heart." That person said, "Then go and find him. As long as you apologize that I'm late, he'll forgive you. He will forgive you. I know him very well." Ling Wu shook her head and said, "If I go and find him now, I'll lose even my last trace of dignity. That's even more painful than death." That person said, "No, you're wrong to think this way. The reason why you became strangers with him is because there's a problem with your perception. You think that you're righteous and correct. In fact, you're wrong. Yang Dingtian is the correct one." Ling Wu trembled as she looked at him and said, "But I've always been following you. If I'm wrong, then you're also wrong." "No, to me, you can't use wrong and correct to describe me." That person said, "If you insist on using a word to describe me, then it would be righteous and evil. Little Wu, everything that I've done in the past has been to deceive you. Yang Dingtian is righteous. Everything that he's done is for the sake of saving this world. However, I'm evil. Everything that I've done is for the sake of destroying this world. I'm a person of evil ways. I'm the adopted son of the demon king Wenian. This person was naturally Wu Yuming. Wu Yuming, who had been missing for more than 100 days. After telling the truth, Wu Yuming looked at Ling Wu and said, "Why aren't you surprised?" Ling Wu was silent for a moment before she said, "I want to surprise myself. But I don't know why, but I'm unable to be surprised in my heart. Perhaps, I've long known this truth in my heart. It's just that I've been constantly hypnotizing myself all this while." Wu Yuming said, "Haven't you always wanted to stand on the side of righteousness?" Ling Wu smiled sadly and said, "It's already at this point in time. There's no need to deceive myself anymore. Perhaps, righteousness is just an excuse for me. An excuse that allows me to righteously go against him. Since I can't obtain any dignity from him, I'll use another method to obtain weight. Even if it's hatred." "You're really foolish." Wu Yuming sighed and said, "He's never thought of hurting your self-esteem at all. He didn't do it on purpose." Ling Wu said, "It's this kind of unintentional that hurt me the most. It made me feel that I'm so lowly, and I wanted to be so different from the rest." Immediately, Wu Yuming fell into silence. Ling Wu said, "Did you choose this place? It's so far away." Wu Yuming said, "That's right. Back then, after I was defeated, my soul was instantly destroyed. After that, I wore the demonic spirit mist cloak and blinked aimlessly. Blinked, blinked, blinked. I didn't know where I was going at all. I couldn't find my destination either. Therefore, I finally found a target. That was to find a place to die, the best place. After that, I found this place. This place isn't bad." Ling Wu said. "It's not bad, right?" Wu Yuming smiled and said, After I found this place, my profound energy had just been exhausted. After that, I just laid here and watched myself rot day by day. This kind of feeling is very blissful. However, what's not blissful is that I can't die no matter what. I've been waiting for my death every day. Why haven't I died yet? Ling Wu said, "Why must you die? You've only lost once." Wu Yuming smiled and said, "There's a kind of person who can lose many times in a battle. He doesn't care about winning or losing. For example, Yang Dingtian. No matter how many times he loses, even if he dies, there will still be many people who love him and remember him. However, there's a kind of person who wants to win all the time. Even if he loses once, it means that he has nothing and it means death. And I'm this kind of person." Ling Wu said, "When my mother was young, she once told me a story. She said that there's a kind of footless bird that flies for its entire life. As long as it lands once, it will die." Wu Yuming said, "I'm the real footless bird. Because I don't have any foothold, I shouldn't exist in this world. Since the moment I was born, I only existed for one person. Only by defeating him completely and eliminating him can I truly become a person and truly stand on the ground. Otherwise, I'll always be illusory. Of course, perhaps I've always been illusory." "Is that person Yang Dingtian?" Ling Wu asked. "It's not important who he is. When I was born, Yang Dingtian hadn't been born yet. Even his parents hadn't been born yet. Even his grandparents hadn't been born yet." Wu Yuming said, "I'm a flaw, a cheating device of the demon king Wentian. The reason why he created me was to prove one thing. Under the circumstances of cheating with all his might, whether the spokesperson chosen by God could be defeated and whether the so-called fate could be broken. I've already cheated so badly. Before he was born, I was already very strong. Even now, I'm 10 times stronger than him. However, I still failed. This proves that everything is predestined. Everything I do is futile and my existence is meaningless." Ling Wu was silent for a moment before she said, "I kind of understand now. You exist for the sake of proving one thing. Now that the result is out, you've lost all meaning. Then I'd like to ask, other than this matter, do you have any other reason to continue living?" "You don't want me to die?" Wu Yuming asked. "I don't know." Ling Wu said, "I only know that as long as you die, I'll definitely die with you. Because when I lost my love and dignity, I yearned for your loneliness." Wu Yuming smiled faintly and said, "All right then, let's die together. It's pretty good to die in this place where no one will ever discover us." After that, the two of them lay quietly in the bloody mud and gradually sank down, waiting for the arrival of death. Merry Christmas. Although I'm not a homosexual and don't care about this holiday, it's still okay to find a reason to be merry. Chapter 724. Just like that, Wu Yuming and Ling Wu lay motionlessly on the rotten island, waiting for the arrival of death day by day. Yang Dingtian still knew nothing about the matter regarding Ling Wu and Wu Yuming. He was still extremely busy every day. The entire chaotic world had basically been unified. Next, other than fully preparing for the world extermination war, the next strategic target was the Vulture Palace. The Netherworld Sea was purely based on martial strength. It didn't seem to have any astonishing military strength. As for the Black Vulture Core in the Vulture Palace, Yang Dingtian was almost determined to obtain it. However, now was the crucial moment to reorganize the central continent. Yang Dingtian didn't wish for side issues to crop up. Therefore, the war definitely couldn't be fought. He still had to use the old method of coercion and bribery. The first step was to rescue Ling Xuanji, the grandfather of Ling Tuesday. He had to find a way to let him recover his strength before taking back the Vulture Palace. However, this should be very difficult to do. The current Walingzi was like a grandit. He was incomparably precious to his own life and power. Once his power was touched, he would be extremely vigilant, even if it was just the slightest movement of the wind. Moreover, once someone touched his lifeblood, he would definitely fight with his life on the line. If a half-sage started to fight with his life on the line, the consequences would be incomparably shocking. Therefore, the entire matter indeed had to be considered at length west of the northwest continent, in the sky above the sea near the taboo continent. Suddenly, two figures approached from afar. One was peerlessly beautiful. The other was peerlessly handsome and looked down on the world. The fourth person of the evil ways, Princess Mudan. And the young master of the foxman race of Little Western Paradise, the snow-white masked man, Yao Li. Let's part ways here. Princess Mudan said, Your Excellency Yao Li, won't you reconsider the matter of forming an alliance? Yao Li shook her head lightly and said, I'll say it again. Although the Temple of Annihilation is very strong, there is no need for us, Little Western Paradise, to form an alliance with anyone. No one has the right to form an alliance with us. We have no interest in the conflicts between you humans. Then, Yao Li's figure flashed and disappeared in the air, flying towards the northeast. Princess Mudan's fragrant figure flashed and flew towards the southeast. Several hours later, Yao Li's figure instantly appeared tens of thousands of meters above Cloud Sky City's castle. Yao Rao was holding Bao Bao and playing mahjong with Yen Yen. Suddenly, her heart twitched, and all the hair on her body stood erect. Then she sniffed instinctively, wanting to find something, but found nothing. Sister Alluring Rao, what's wrong? Yao Rao shook her head and said, Oh, nothing. Master's wife said softly, Yao Rao, now that little Tion's matter is finished, you should tell him if there's anything. Yao Rao said. At this time, Bao Bao, who was in the bosom of Yao Rao, suddenly raised his head to look, but he only saw the ceiling, and his little face immediately showed a perplexed expression. North Prefecture of Zhongjing. Yang Dingtian was crazily struggling with countless documents. Now, he had completely turned into the busiest signing machine. The mountain-like documents were all waiting for him to review and sign. He originally wanted to read 10 lines at a glance, and then sign them directly. But every time this happened, Yunjunu's eyes would become very strict as she stared at him, or she would pretend to cough a few times. In short, as long as Yang Dingtian was distracted, she would be able to sense it. This secretary was too competent, she was completely like a housekeeper. Every time this happened, Yang Dingtian would be afraid of her like a tiger. Yunjunu also put in a lot of effort. She knew that Yang Dingtian did not like this kind of work, and among the 1,000 documents that he had read, at least 999 of them were signed directly. But among the 1,000 to 2,000 documents, there would always be one or two that Yang Dingtian felt were very inappropriate from his point of view, so he would reject them. With regards to these rejections, the Council of Light and Yunjunu treasured them very much. Because Yang Dingtian could often see things from a different point of view, these rejected documents would also become very important. As for Spirit Rabbit, ever since she entered the North Prefecture in her wedding dress, Yang Dingtian had never seen her again. Originally, he thought that after this pitiful little girl escaped from the Sea of Bitterness and met another relative, Ling Bai, the two of them would definitely not want to be separated, and Spirit Rabbit would also enjoy this quiet and leisure life. Then, she would have some charming interactions with Yang Dingtian, even though Yang Dingtian was incomparably busy. However, none of this happened. Spirit Rabbit and Ling Bai were only together for 3 days. In these 3 days, she fully understood Yang Dingtian, after understanding the Council of Light. She then mentioned that she wanted to go to Shijing Tianqi Academy. That's right, she wanted to practice martial arts, she wanted to take back all the time that she had lost. Therefore, in these few months, she was in Shijing, madly practicing martial arts. Of course, no matter in name or in fact, she was Yang Dingtian's wife, so almost every day, there would be information about her sent to Yang Dingtian. In fact, these information were very simple, it was nothing more than just how much her cultivation had broken through. Also, her beauty was recovering day by day. Of course, on the 50th day. The information said that Madame Spirit Rabbit's beauty should have completely recovered, shocking the entire Tianqi Academy. In the end, on the 51st day, the information still said that Madame Spirit Rabbit's beauty was still recovering. On the 100th day, the information still said that Madame Spirit Rabbit's beauty was still recovering. In other words, since she did not eat the poisonous mushrooms, she became more beautiful bit by bit. On the 50th day, the intelligence personnel felt that they had reached their limit, but on the 100th day, she was still becoming more beautiful, and they did not know when it would stop. Since you have recovered your beauty, you should come back, why are you still in Shijing? Yun Junwoo asked. Yang Dingtian pretended not to hear, and did not look at Yun Junwoo's mesmerizing back. How long had it been since he had touched a woman? It had been a long time. The last time was after he defeated Wu Yuming. Then, Wu Maji rushed back to the Snow Clan because she was worried about Yang Dingtian's duel. She had not seen her twin children for a few months, and she missed them so much that she was going crazy. She was not the only one who went back. Qin Ji and Dishi Bian went with her, and the three of them were as good as one. After Wu Maji left, Yang Dingtian did not have a single woman by his side, and he could not touch her even if he wanted to. Moreover, he was so busy that he did not even have time to go back to Sky City. He was a normal man, and he was more hot-tempered than others. Therefore, whenever Yun Junwoo talked about this topic, he would definitely keep his mouth shut. Otherwise, if he was provoked, it would be troublesome if there was no way to put out the fire. Seeing Yang Dingtian's bitter face, Yun Junwoo pursed her lips and smiled. She stretched her body slightly, and the curve of her waist was even more breathtaking. Then, when she saw Yang Dingtian turn his face away, she felt an inexplicable sweetness and satisfaction in her heart. She had always enjoyed her current life, and every day was filled with sweetness. She enjoyed this kind of sweetness, and if she was from Earth, she would have a term for it, which was platonic love. Of course, Yun Junwoo was closer than that. She also enjoyed the warmth and light touch very much. Sect leader, there is someone outside, and he wants to see you. Zhu Hongxue suddenly said from outside. Yang Dingun was stunned, and said, is it someone important? I don't know him. Zhu Hongxue said, but I feel that he is very important. I will be right there. Yang Dingtian put down the document in his hand, stretched, and walked out very quickly. Yang Dingtian saw the unfamiliar man. He was wearing a snow-white mask, but the eyes that were exposed were already beautiful to the point of being devilish. Sir Yang Dingtian. The masked man bowed slightly to greet him. At this time, Yang Dingtian was almost the #1 person in the chaotic world. Although the masked man was polite, but Yang Dingtian could clearly feel the indifference in his eyes. The way he looked at Yang Dingtian was like a human looking at an animal in the zoo, with curiosity and admiration. That's right, admiration. Just like in the zoo, when you saw some animals doing acrobatics, you would look at them with admiration. Hello. Yang Dingtian nodded and said, may I know who you are? You have never seen me before, but I have seen you. The masked man Yao Li said, at that time in the taboo continent, I saw you struggling in the illusion. But Sir Yang Dingtian is very impressive, to be able to escape from the illusion in such a short time. From what I remember, you are the second person to escape from the illusion with your own ability. And compared to the other person, your time was much shorter. Thank you for the compliment. Yang Dingtian said. Yao Li asked, aren't you curious about who the other person who escaped from the illusion was? Yang Dingtian said, it should be Dongfang Bingling, or Princess Mudan. Yao Li couldn't help but clap and say, wow, Sir Yang Dingtian has really impressed me. For some reason, the more the other party looked at him with admiration, the more uncomfortable Yang Dingtian felt. So he directly said, may I know your name, and what business do you have with me? My name is Yao Li, the masked man said. I come from Little Western Paradise, the same place as Yao Rao. Yang Dingtian's gaze suddenly trembled, and his heart jumped. Then he said, nice to meet you, Sir Yao Li, what business do you have with me? Oh, it's nothing. Yao Li said, I'm just here to bring Yao Rao home. After all, she has been outside for so long, thank you for taking care of her all these years. Chapter 725. Bring Yao Rao home? Yang Dingtian's eyes narrowed. Then he put on a smile and said, so, someone from her family came? How about this, I'll go back and ask her and see what she thinks, okay? Then, Yang Dingtian's smile became even more enthusiastic. He said, speaking of which, this is the first time I've seen Yao Rao's family since she was married to me. I shouldn't have. I'll definitely bring Yao Rao back to visit them when I have the time. Seeing Yang Dingtian smile, Yao Li's faint smile disappeared. He took half a step back and his expression became even more polite. He said, I think you might have misunderstood. When I said bring her home, I meant bring her back to the little western paradise forever. Yang Dingtian's smile also disappeared. He said, but I think you're being unreasonable. If a woman marries a chicken, she will follow the chicken. If she marries a dog, she will follow the dog. Yao Rao is married to me, so my place is naturally her home. What home is there to talk about? Yao Li bowed again and said, I'm sorry, fox demons and humans are not allowed to marry. Is there such a rule? Yang Dingtian said with a smile. Of course there is, Yao Li said. Yang Dingtian said, then why did you let a bunch of female fox demons come to the human countries? To play? When he said this, Yao Li's eyes twitched and turned cold. Yang Dingtian's words undoubtedly poked the fox demon's sore spot. Why did they let so many female fox demons out? Of course, it was to find humans to mate with and borrow their seeds to improve their bloodline. They wanted to give birth to a perfect demigod race. Yang Dingtian didn't say it clearly, but that was what he meant. Yang Dingtian continued, also, Yao Rao is already an adult. She can decide everything by herself. Even if you're her brother, you have no right to interfere. Yao Li stared coldly at Yang Dingtian. I'm not her brother. I'm her fiancé. I grew up with her. When he said this, Yang Dingtian trembled. When he had heard the names Yao Li and Yao Rao, he had thought that they were brother and sister, but the result was that they were actually fiancés. Yao Li took a deep breath and withdrew her exposed anger. She spoke politely, Sire Yang Dingnun, did you know that when you were in the Forbidden Continent's illusion realm a few months ago, not only was I there, but Dongfang Bingling was there as well? Yang Dingtian obviously knew, but he didn't nod or shake his head. Do you know what she's doing? Yao Li asked. I don't know. Yang Dingtian said. Yao Li said, is he there for the sake of forming an alliance? They want Little Western Paradise and the Temple of Annihilation to form an alliance. This was a major event, an unprecedented major event. His expression immediately turned serious. Yao Li continued, of course, don't worry. I didn't agree to it. Because we don't interfere in your human affairs. Your Excellency Yang Dingtian, I have come with great sincerity. How about we make a deal? Speak, Yang Dingtian said. If you agree to my request, we will provide you with generous help in this battle against the evil ways, Yao Li said. Yang Dingtian said with a smile, are you planning to form an alliance with the Council of Light? No. Yao Li shook her head vigorously and said, I don't know about the Temple of Annihilation or the Council of Light. To be honest, I don't know what they mean. I only have one word for you, and that is humans. If I form an alliance with humans, I think I will become the laughingstock of Little Western Paradise. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. Yang Ding said, go on. Yao Li said, when I say help, I mean to send some experts to help you. For example, a few of your so-called half-saints? A few dozen of your so-called great masters will be your reward for taking care of Yao Rao all these years. How about that? Yang Dingtian didn't answer. The coldness in his eyes was getting stronger and stronger. I'm sorry. My words are harsh, but they are the truth. Yao Li said, just like how you humans can help monkeys, but you can't form an alliance with them, right? If I hurt your pride, then I'm sorry. My pride doesn't come from my mouth, and it's hard for it to be hurt by it. Yang Dingtian said, then if I refuse, you will stand on the side of the evil ways, right? Oh no. Yao Li said, you have completely misunderstood. Because we are noble silver dragon bloodline bearers, we won't bully others. That's why I came to negotiate with you very honestly, and I'm offering a generous reward. If you refuse, then I can only apologize. What? If I refuse, you will kill me, right? Yang Dingtian sneered. How can you understand it like that? Yao Li said, Your Excellency Yang Dingtian, please don't judge me from the perspective of a human. Why would I want to kill you? Just like how a human wouldn't want to kill a monkey just because it barked at him, right? If you don't agree, then I can only regretfully take Yao Rao away, that's all. Yang Dingtian smiled and said, What if I stop you from taking Yao Rao away? Yao Li was stunned and said, Then I can only be very, very sorry. After all, patience is limited. It's just like a monkey blocking your way and throwing feces at you. I think you're likely to kick it away, right? Yang Dingtian didn't even have the desire to be angry. There were many racists on Earth. In their eyes, only white people were human, yellow people were monkeys, and black people were beasts. Of course, the racism of this person in front of him was even more deranged. In his eyes, all humans were monkeys. Yao Li smiled and said, I know you have very complicated emotions, so it's hard for you to make any rational decisions when you're angry. As a silver dragon bloodline holder, I think I have to give you time. How about 10 days? I'll give you 10 days to think about it, and I'll come back after 10 days. If you agree, I'll give you some so-called half-saints and grandmasters to help you win this so-called Armageddon war. If you don't agree, then I can only take Yao Rao away. Of course, if you want to stop me, then I can only be very, very sorry. Then Yao Li turned to leave. Yang Dinghan suddenly said, if Yao Rao and I don't have a child, will you still want to take her away? You only talk about Yao Rao and don't talk about the baby? How hypocritical are you? Yao Li's face twitched and then said, as for the child, please don't worry. After I marry Yao Rao, I'll treat her as my own. Yang Dinghan said, I have another question to ask you. Yao Li said, please speak. Yang Dingtian said seriously, please tell me, a man who needs another man's help to have a child with a woman, where does his sense of superiority come from? This is the first time I've seen someone with a sense of superiority even after being cuckolded. Yao Li's eyes suddenly turned cold, and then he continued to smile, and raised his slender index finger, and said, the first time you threw shit at me, and that exhausted a third of my patience. If there are 2 more times, then I can only be very, very sorry. Goodbye. Then he bowed respectfully in a gentlemanly manner, and then directly disappeared. At this moment, for some reason, Yang Dingtian actually missed Wu Yuming. Even though Brother Netherworld was hypocritical and ethereal, he was indeed the kind of person who was as carefree as the wind and clouds. He wouldn't bend his waist all the time, bow all the time, and wouldn't speak polite and vicious words all the time. When Wu Yuming occasionally said vicious words and cursed Yang Dingtian, it was also quite realistic. Princess Mu Dan flashed the dark purple wings on her back, and quickly soared on the surface of the sea. Then, she floated above a rotten island. She raised her hands slightly, and immediately, 2 bodies slowly floated up from the disgusting bloody mud below. She frowned slightly, and distinguished which one was Wu Yuming. Then, she threw the other one back into the bloody mud, and didn't look at it again. Wu Yuming was still alive, and he really didn't know why he couldn't die. Princess Mudan, right? He said hoarsely. Yes, Princess Mudan said indifferently, you lost the duel with Yang Ding. Yes, I lost, Wu Yuming said. Then what are you doing right now? Mudan asked. Wu Yuming said, I'm waiting for death, but I don't know why, but I can't die. You don't have to die, Mudan said, you can live. No, please don't, Wu Yuming said, it's impossible for you to bring a dead person back to life. You can recover your energy and even become stronger, Mudan said. I have a first-class evil spirit, and Li Ming also has a first-class evil spirit. Because your and Dongli's mission is special, you don't have it in your bodies. But your first-class evil spirit has been temporarily stored somewhere. Once the mission fails, you will be given the evil spirit that you should have obtained. I've brought your share this time. Dongli was responsible for making the Naga pregnant, and he was worried that the evil spirit energy would affect this, so he didn't activate his evil spirit. And Wu Yuming, because she wanted to usurp the power of the Tiando League, of course, she couldn't have the evil spirit energy, so it wasn't activated. Wu Yuming said, I can actually enjoy the same treatment as you and Li Ming. You deserve it, Mudan said. However, I don't need this kind of evil spirit anymore. Wu Yuming shook her head and said, I can't beat him after cheating once, and then I have to cheat a second time. I'm not that shameless. No, you don't have to deal with Yang Dingtian anymore, Mudan said. As you said, you only have 1 battle with Yang Dingtian. Once you fail, there won't be a second time. Therefore, the battle between him and Yang Dingtian had already ended. The next mission you have to complete is the upcoming Armageddon War. Wu Yuming's eyes trembled slightly, but there was still no light. Wu Yuming thought for a while, but still shook her head and said, I was only born to defeat Yang Dingtian in this life. Only by defeating him can I obtain a new life and have the qualifications to do other things. Now that I've failed, I don't have the qualifications to do other things, and I can only die. So, just put me down and leave me here to rot and die. At least I'm not left with nothing here." At this moment, Mu Dan's gaze fell on the body that she had just thrown down, Ling Wu's body that she didn't know whether was dead or alive. Mu Dan slowly looked at Wu Yuming and said coldly, "I'm very moved by your desire to die. However, all of this is meaningless. I can only say that it's not up to you to decide whether you want to live or die. From the day you were created, your fate wasn't up to you to decide. Therefore, even if you want to die, you can't do it." After that, Mu Dan's gaze suddenly turned cold. Both of her hands suddenly converged in the air and squeezed the air between her palms. Immediately, a purplish-blue light dragon condensed and swam in her hands. It was lifelike and ferocious. That purplish-blue light instantly set off Mu Dan's incomparably beautiful face, making it incomparably gorgeous and incomparably bewitching. Phew! Then she suddenly released it. Oh! With a fierce roar, the purplish-blue light dragon suddenly drilled into Wu Yuming's body. "No, no, I don't need it, I don't need it." Wu Yuming struggled with all her might in the air and desperately roared. However, just like what Mu Dan had said, his fate was never up to him to decide. No matter if it was life or death, he had no right to decide. After that, purplish-blue light dragon entered Wu Yuming's body. In an instant, an unparalleled energy crazily filled Wu Yuming's body. His already rotting body instantly turned into ashes inch by inch. Only a skeleton was left, as well as a ball of light and shadow whirled in the Qi Si. Immediately after, the skeleton in his entire body was completely shattered. In the entire Wu Yuming, there was only a Qi Si energy world left. The roaming dragon of light and shadow drilled into his Qi Si with all its might. Boom! In an instant, the entire sea suddenly set off monstrous waves. Huge waves of tens of thousands of meters, and huge waves of thousands of miles. The entire sky instantly covered all the light, and the two suns in the sky were completely shrouded. The world of thousands of miles seemed to have been completely changed, as if it was the end of the world. After the swimming dragon completely entered Wu Yuming's Qi Si, a blue light instantly exploded. In an instant, the world of thousands of miles, where one couldn't see their fingers, instantly became as bright as day, as if instantly blinding people. After the light dissipated, a brand new body floated in the air. The skin of her entire body was as flawless as white jade. Her entire body was like the most exquisite and gorgeous sculpture. Wu Yuming stretched out her hand and looked at her palm and body. It was even more perfect than before she was seriously injured. The surging power in her palm was incomparably powerful. However, she still didn't have any pleasant surprise, but only endless disappointment. "Is there any meaning in becoming stronger?" Wu Yuming slowly said, "My previous strength was accumulated bit by my own efforts. Now, a first-class evil spirit has made me so strong all of a sudden. What a big cheat. What do you want me to do? Kill Yang Dingtian? I will vomit." "No, I said it before, you and Yang Dingan are already over." Mu Dan slowly said, "Your next mission is to help your creator, fight against the so-called fate, help your foster father, and defeat the so-called God. The World Extermination War is only the first step." Chapter 726. When Wu Yuming came back to his senses, Princess Mu Dan had already disappeared without a trace. At this moment, no one could describe what he was feeling. Whatever he lacked, he would pursue it. Wu Yuming wanted to defeat Yang Dingtian in a frenzy just to prove his worth. So for many years, he cultivated with all his might. Like an invisible person, he traveled to every corner of the world. When he discovered the darkness profound flame, he was as excited as Yang Dingtian. He felt as if he had found the source of this world's energy. Then he started to search for profound flames. All kinds of profound flames were used to feed this darkness profound flame. This darkness profound flame was extremely powerful, but he had never used it before. Because he wanted to use it on God's spokesperson. Every year, he was waiting for the appearance of God's spokesperson. Every year, he was filled with anticipation and urgency. Therefore, before Yang Dingtian appeared, he had already been in a spiritual relationship with Yang Dingtian for a long time. He wanted to use this extremely powerful darkness profound flame on God's spokesperson. Once he defeated God's spokesperson, he would obtain a new life and become a real person. And when Yang Dingtian appeared, he was really disappointed. Extremely disappointed. How could God's spokesperson be so weak? How could he become God's spokesperson? So, at the beginning, Wu Yuming was not only disdainful of Yang Dingtian, he was also filled with hatred. You are so weak. How can you be worthy of my lifetime of hard work? How can you be worthy of my darkness profound flame? So, on the mountain of the cloud sky pavilion, he could not hold back the disappointment in his heart and expressed his disdain for Yang Dingtian. Then Yang Dingtian performed miracles again and again. Finally, he made Wu Yuming face him. In the end, Yang Dingtian stabbed Wu Yuming so many times that he started to hate Yang Dingtian again. In the end, when the duel was about to begin, even this feeling of hatred disappeared. Because he wanted to use the darkness profound flame to kill Yang Dingtian. He was going to obtain a new life. Then, something unbelievable happened. He was defeated and killed in an instant. Perhaps many people would think that he was unwilling to give up, but he really wasn't. Even after being seriously injured, his cultivation was still far above Yang Dingtian's. However, he wasn't unwilling. He just wanted to find a place to wait for death. Because this proved that fate could not be defied. Even though he was 10 times stronger than the God's spokesperson, he was still killed in an instant. It was as if everything was predestined. With this answer, everything became meaningless to Wu Yuming. As for obtaining a first-class dark spirit, it made him extremely powerful in an instant, breaking through an incredible bottleneck. Others might have been overjoyed, but this was not the case. But for Wu Yuming, what did it feel like? It was just like playing games. Level 90 was the pinnacle, a pinnacle that almost no one could surpass. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, and so on. You've spent countless lives and effort to reach level 85. You're about to break through to level 90. In the end, with a whoosh, the system installed the private server and instantly reached level 90. Even reaching level 100 was very easy. Instantly, the hard work and struggle of the past few decades became meaningless. He raised his hand into the air. Immediately, Ling Wu, who was covered in blood and mud, slowly flew up from the quagmire. With a light wave, the blood and mud on her body instantly flew away. Ling Wu became clean. However, her body was thin, weak, and on the verge of death. I'm not going to die. What do you plan to do? Asked Wu Yuming. Ling Wu shook her head, indicating that she didn't know. Wu Yuming thought for a while and said, now that I have a first-class dark spirit in my body, I should be one of the strongest humans in this world. However, I can't find the goal of survival. In the following days, I'll work hard to find the goal of my life. As for you, I don't have the authority to decide your fate. Let yourself decide, okay? Ling Wu nodded. Wu Yuming said, I'm the owner of a first-class dark spirit. Therefore, I can bestow a second-class dark spirit to 5 people. I'll give one of them to you. He stretched out his palm. Immediately, a blue bead floated above his palm. With a light flick, this blue bead flew into Ling Wu's chi vessel. You have 3 days to think about your future life. Wu Yuming said, of course, this choice is actually life and death. 3 days later, I'll activate the second-class dark spirit in your body on my dark spirit tree. At that time, you'll undoubtedly become extremely powerful. However, you won't even be able to die. If you don't want this, you can choose to commit suicide within 3 days, okay? Ling Wu nodded again. Wu Yuming channeled a stream of profound energy into her body, allowing her to gradually recover her vitality and energy. After that, he gently lifted Ling Wu's back and flew in the direction of the central continent. 3 days. Within these 3 days, Ling Wu could choose to die. After 3 days, once the second-class dark spirit in her body was activated, she wouldn't be able to die anymore. At this moment, Yang Dingtian was talking to Yao Rao in the cloud castle. Yao Li, he's indeed my former fiancé. Moreover, we can be considered as childhood sweethearts. We've been playing together since we were very, very young. Yao Rao said, our fathers were the patriarchs of our respective tribes. Therefore, we were engaged when we were very young. Yang Dingtian said, but I feel that he's very loathsome. He's a stupid racist. Yao Rao smiled faintly and said, he's just this kind of arrogant person. Yang Dingtian sneered and said, a man who allowed his fiancée to leave the little western paradise to find a human to plant her seed. What bullshit pride is there to talk about? Yao Rao's delicate body suddenly trembled violently. She said in a low voice, Little Tian, actually, when I left the little western paradise and came to the human countries to plant my seed, he wasn't there. He had gone to the most dangerous place to cultivate. And the reason why he cultivated with all his might was because he didn't want me to plant my seed with a human. Yang Dingtian was stunned. Yao Rao continued, he's actually always been the craziest opponent of the plant borrowing theory. He looked down on humans. He always firmly believed that the Silver Dragon bloodline should rely on their own efforts to ascend to the demigod clan and not walk the same path as Naga. At that time, during the tribal assembly, he picked me as a plant female fox. Moreover, I was the most important one. He wanted to elope with me, and even wanted to instigate all the young people in the tribe to rebel. Thus, the Tribal Alliance Council could only cancel my plant borrowing qualification on the surface. They gave Yao Li a chance to prove himself. After that, he went to the most dangerous dark domain to cultivate alone. Taking advantage of his absence, the Tribal Alliance Council sent me out of the little western paradise to plant my seed in the human countries. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian sunk into silence. Then he said, although he has a perverted racial tendency, but he's not completely useless. Yao Rao gave a complicated smile. You liked him, didn't you? Yang Dingtian suddenly asked. Yao Rao smiled and said, we were childhood sweethearts. There's no need to talk about liking or not liking him. But we definitely have the same feelings as family. Yang Dingun hugged her and said softly, you're mine. Remember, you're mine. No one can change this. Whoever wants to change this, I'll kill his whole family. If I can't kill him today, I'll kill his whole family tomorrow. I know I'm yours. I'll always be yours. Yao Rao kissed Yang Dingtian's chest and said softly, husband, I'm not worried about Yao Li. Although he looks down on humans almost crazily, but he's not a bad person. What I'm worried about is those elders in the little western paradise. Once they know that we have a child, an almost perfect demigod child, they won't let us go. They won't hesitate to kill our whole family and then steal the child. Yang Dingtian's face twitched fiercely. He clenched his teeth and didn't say anything. Baby. Yao Rao gently stroked Yang Dingtian's face and said softly, I'll go and see Yao Li. I'll talk to him and see how bad the situation is. If it's not bad enough, I can ask him to let us go. Although it's not pleasant to hear, it's not shameful for the baby, for our family. Yang Dingun kissed her delicate lips and said softly, do you trust him? I trust him, just like how you trust Qin Huayu and Song Chunhua, Yao Rao said. Good, Yang Dingun said, then you go and talk to him. Wu Yuming and Ling Wu returned to the great central capital. He changed his appearance and walked aimlessly on the street like an ordinary person. He observed every person on the street, thought about the meaning of his life, and searched for the goal of his life. Then he came to a newsstand and bought a copy of the Chaos Times. He read the newspaper very carefully. Then, he took out a handful of gold coins and gave it to the newsstand owner. I'll have to trouble you to find me a copy of all the Chaos Times in the past 100 days. The newsstand owner's eyes lit up when he saw the gold coins. He immediately went back to look for it. Then, he folded the newspaper that he had left behind and handed it to Wu Yuming. After receiving it, Wu Yuming nodded at him to thank him. Then, he carried the thick newspaper and found an ordinary inn to stay in. Then, he read it carefully. He passed by his once prominent southern mansion. It was still there. Even the people from the Netherworld Sea hadn't left yet. However, not only did he not go in, he didn't even take a look. In the ordinary room, he began to read the articles one by one. Then he read the articles about himself. There were more than 100 articles. He became almost the only male lead in the Chaos Times. His limelight completely overshadowed Yang Dingtian. Just like that, he read the articles one by one. Not a single word was a rumor. Not a single word was a smear. Not a single word was a stain. Everything that Wu Yuming had experienced was described in an extremely objective manner. When he forgot about Wu Yuming's identity and treated himself as a reader, he finished reading the several 100,000-word serial about Wu Yuming. Then he immediately developed complicated feelings for this person. Pity, sympathy, admiration. However, there wasn't much discussed. On the contrary, his impression of Wu Yuming's wife's vulture became extremely disgusting. Ling Wu, on the other hand, was more or less negative. This was also the feeling that all the readers had towards Wu Yuming. After these 100 articles, Wu Yuming had almost become the #1 person. Countless people sympathized with him and pitied him. However, there was almost no pure disgust. There was even a group of fans that had an astonishing number of them. Almost all of them were women. This fan group was now frequently appearing in the newspapers and news. Among them, the most exaggerated one was Yang Dingtian's eldest daughter, Yang Ning, who was the leader of the Iron Furnace City's fan group. Naturally, she wasn't a fan of Wu Yuming. She only worshipped Yang Dingtian. Her original words were, "It's not easy for Wu Yuming to become my father's enemy. In order to prevent this fan group from going astray, I'll reluctantly become their leader." After Wu Yuming finished reading, he couldn't help but smile. His mind began to recall that Yang Ning. In the end, he discovered that he seemed to have never seen this fairy-like little girl before. After he finished reading all the articles about himself, he sighed and closed his eyes. Lying on the bed, he began to think about the meaning of his life. After that, he immediately became envious of Yang Dingtian. At the very least, his life was very meaningful. As for Ling Wu, she was also thinking about her own choice. She could either die or let the second-grade evil spirit in her body revive. That way, she would become extremely powerful. However, at that time, she wouldn't be able to die even if she wanted to. Moreover, her path had already come to an end when Wu Yuming was defeated and revealed his identity as one of the evil ways. Wu Yuming had already told her clearly that he was evil and Yang Dingtian was righteous. In that case, she couldn't use this righteous excuse anymore. Since she had already walked to a dead end, the only right thing to do was to die. She arrived at the northern region of the Zhongjing city and requested to see Yang Dingtian. It was Yun Junyu who received her. When he saw the pale Ling Wu in her lifeless eyes, Yun Junyu couldn't help but be stunned. Sect Master isn't in the Zhongjing city. He's in the Cloud Heaven city. Ling Wu said, "Then can you give me a demon eagle? I need to see him as soon as possible." Yun Junyu said, "Why do you want to see him? Are you going to scold him again?" Immediately, Ling Wu couldn't help but smile bitterly. As expected, she had given Yang Dingtian's people such a bad influence. Every time she came, she would mock and scold him. However, her status was lowly. Yang Dingtian would clench his teeth and listen to her words. Yet, he couldn't kill her. "Don't worry, it's not like that. Actually, I didn't really dare to see him a long time ago." Ling Wu said, "I'm looking for him to free myself." Yun Junyu stared at Ling Wu for a long time before nodding his head. Then he called the fastest demon eagle for her. Yun Junyu rode on the demon eagle and flew towards the Cloud Heaven city in the northwest continent. At the same time, Yao Rao rode on the demon eagle and flew towards the yin-yang mirror in the north. Because Yao Li, who possessed crazy racism, couldn't live in any place that had the smell of humans. Therefore, he chose to live in the yin-yang mirror that was uninhabited. 12 hours later, Ling Wu landed in the Cloud Heaven city and requested to see Yang Dingtian. Yao Rao also landed in the yin-yang mirror at around the same time. At this moment, Yao Li was sitting on the surface of the mirror motionlessly. Chapter 727. Why didn't you go in to see me when you arrived at Cloud Sky City? Yao Rao asked, using the unique language of the Black Fox clan. A man can't protect his own woman, so he doesn't have the face to see you, Yao Li said, but there was a hint of anger in his tone. My man is Yang Dingnan. Yao Rao smiled and said, Big brother, don't get it wrong. Your man is me? Yao Li looked at Yao Rao and said word by word, Yang Dingtian is just a despicable and lowly human. He is just an insignificant stallion. We are noble silver dragon bloodline bearers. Don't forget this just because you stayed in the human world for a long time. Yao Li, I won't argue with you about this, Yao Rao said. I'll tell you directly here, I won't leave with you. My husband and my son are here. This is my home. You love him? You love Yang Dingtian, that monkey? Yao Li said sternly. Yes, perhaps I can't say that I love him because I haven't experienced a lot with him like his other wives, Yao Rao said slowly, but without a doubt, I miss him very much. It's like a woman who married a man she has never met, did the most intimate things together, and gave birth to a child together. She will miss him and love him. So even though my love is different from Shimin Yen Yen and the others, it's still love. Then what about me? Yao Li said angrily, then what am I? Are you going to betray the feelings between us? Yao Li, first of all, even though you and I grew up together, it's not an intense love between a man and a woman. I see you more as my big brother. Yao Rao said, of course, if we get married smoothly, then this kind of feelings might become the love between husband and wife. We might also become a loving couple that can't be separated. But now, I'm Yang Dingtian's woman. After I got pregnant, I wanted to leave him and return to Little Western Paradise, but I realized that I can't do it. Then what if I take you away by force? Yao Li said, you should know that even if Yang Dingtian were to gather all of his monkey minions, he still wouldn't be able to stop me. Then you are my enemy. Yao Rao coldly said, if you bring me back to Little Western Paradise, I will be powerless to stop you. But my precious son will work hard to become stronger, kill all of you, and then bring me back to Yang Dingtian, even if it takes 20 or 30 years. Of course, even without my precious son, perhaps in less than 10 years, Yang Dingtian will kill his way into the Little Western Paradise and bring me home. Dream on, dream on. Yao Li sneered and said, Yang Dingtian is just a human monkey. He's dreaming if he wants to defeat us noble silver dragon bloodline bearers. Yao Li, frogs at the bottom of a well, I'm talking about you people. Yao Rao coldly said. Yao Li said, it seems like the human world really can't be stayed for too long. You'll be polluted if you stay too long, just like you. You can say whatever you want. Yao Rao coldly said, in short, if you want to take me and my baby away, you'll have to kill me and bring my corpse back. Yao Li was furious. If you don't come with me, I'll kill Yang Dingnan. Yao Rao sternly said, before you kill Yang Dingnan, you'll have to step over my corpse first. Betrayal, betrayal. Yao Li was instantly enraged and said loudly, this is a shameful betrayal. How can you do this? How can you betray our feelings? Moreover, it's towards a human monkey. It's still the same, you can say whatever you want. Yao Rao said, but you know, once I make a decision, I will never change it. Then, she suddenly turned around and was about to leave. Yao Li suddenly said, is this okay? You can leave your son to Yang Dingtian, but you have to follow me. However, you must come with me and return to the Western Paradise with me. Impossible, a woman can't have two husbands. Yao Rao coldly said. Then, she rode on the Demon Eagle and returned to Cloud Sky City. However, after flying for 100 miles, she turned back again. Yao Li was instantly overjoyed, thinking that she had changed her mind. She flew in front of Yao Li again and asked, that's right, I was confused by my anger just now and forgot to ask you. Other than you, who else in the Little Western Paradise knows that I've successfully gotten pregnant in the human countries and even gave birth to a child? Yao Li was instantly disappointed and furious. He said unhappily, I don't know. Yao Rao said, they don't know? Yao Li said, yes. I'm not sure if they know that you've successfully given birth to a child. Yao Rao said, then use your brain to recall. Yao Li took a deep breath and said, I really don't know, and I don't dare to guarantee. Yao Rao looked at him deeply. Then she turned around and returned to Cloud Sky City. The moment Yang Dingtian saw Ling Wu, he was extremely astonished. He completely did not expect that he could still see Ling Wu at this time. However, The current Ling Wu was almost unrecognizable to him. Her skin was so white that it was almost bloodless. Moreover, she had lost a lot of weight. Not only had her temperament changed, even her appearance had changed a little. From a healthy and powerful wheat-colored woman, she had turned into a beautiful and delicate girl. Purely looking at her appearance, it seemed that she had really become much more beautiful. However, Yang Dingtian still liked that healthy and powerful woman with wheat-colored skin. Of course, the previous Ling Wu had always carried a hidden fierceness and resentment. However, the current her had a calm and indifferent expression. It was as if she had really undergone some kind of transformation. So much so that Yang Dingtian did not know how to deal with her. So, after a long time, Yang Dingtian said this word. Then he said, "Do you want to drink some tea?" Ling Wu was slightly stunned. Then she nodded. Yang Dingtian found some fragrant tea and lifted the kettle. However, he realized that the water was cold. Therefore, he hurriedly channeled his profound energy into the kettle to heat up the water. Then he poured 2 cups of tea. After Ling Wu received the tea, she held it in her hands and stared blankly. Yang Dingtian was also sitting behind the table. For a moment, he did not know how to open his mouth. Immediately, the two of them froze there awkwardly. "You, why didn't you ask me if I've found Wu Yuming?" Ling Wu finally opened her mouth. "Yang Dingen, I don't think it's appropriate for me to ask." Ling Wu said, "Then why didn't you ask why I'm looking for you at this time?" Yang Dingan scratched his head and said, "Why are you looking for me at this time?" Ling Wu could not help but laugh. However, her beautiful face was incomparably desolate. Then she smiled and said, "Didn't you scold me quite fiercely every time you saw me previously? Why are you so gentle now?" "Yang Dingan, it's because you mocked me first. That's why I scolded you back. He didn't provoke me, so why would I scold him?" Ling Wu was stunned. Then, her smile was filled with even more bitterness. Ling Wu asked again, "Can I ask you a question?" "Yang Dingtan, go ahead. However, don't ask a question that's too difficult." Ling Wu said, "When you successfully won the City Lord's position, why didn't you go to Inferno Island to pick me up?" She had practically used up all of her courage to ask this question. Yang Dingtan gritted his teeth and thought for a while before saying, "Because I was very, very busy. Of course, this wasn't the main reason. The main reason was that I hoped that you would be able to successfully marry someone else." Ling Wu said, "It's because I don't hold enough weight in your heart, right?" "You can say that." Yang Ding, actually, at that time, feelings were already a kind of burden to me. I was somewhat unable to bear it. "Then how were you able to marry Qin Jiaojiao, Mu Lianyi, Wu Maji, and Ning Ro?" Ling Wu said, "Wu Maji and Ning Ro, I dare not compare their beauty. However, don't tell me that Qin Jiaojiao is much better than me." Yang Dingtian was silent for a moment before saying, "Firstly, Jiaojiao is a very cute girl. I also like her very much and love her dearly. Every woman has a unique inner world, including you. You're practically the most special girl I've ever met. However, I don't have the courage to explore the inner world of every girl. Because that would be an extremely huge emotional burden to me. Because that would mean a responsibility, and I might not be able to bear such a huge responsibility." Ling Wu's eyes turned red as she said, "You still haven't answered my question. Why can you marry Qin Jiaojiao so easily, but can't you send someone, even if it's just a random person, a message to Inferno Island and ask me to come to Cloud Heaven City and come to your side?" Yang Dingtian took a deep breath and said, "Ling Wu, before I married Qin Jiaojiao, I only hated her. Her reputation was extremely bad. However, for the sake of Cloud Heaven City, I could only marry her. After I decided to marry her, I decided to understand her and love her. The facts have proven that she's indeed a cute girl." "No, this answer still can't satisfy me," Ling Wu said while sobbing. "Yang Ding, I seem to have told you before, or perhaps I didn't. I've loved 2.5 women. One is Dongfang Bingling. My love was born from longing, which then became even stronger because of hatred. The other is my wife, Shimin Yen Yen, and Shimin Ningning. Don't ask me who I love more, I don't have the heart to answer. In fact, I've experienced many women after that, especially Wu Maji. She's more beautiful than Yen Yen and Ning Ning. She's more special, more complicated, and completely capable of making people madly love her. It can be said that if I met Wu Maji before I met Dongfang Bingling, I would have pursued her crazily and wouldn't even be able to fall in love with other women. However, I've indeed met Dongfang Bingling first. After drinking a mouthful of tea, Yang Ding, Ling Wu, I'm a very ordinary man. My love for women is also very superficial. Let me put it more bluntly. As long as she's extremely beautiful and has an extremely good figure, even if her character isn't too good, I'll fall in love with her as long as she enters my world. Once we start to fall in love, I'll turn my love into love. I'm such a superficial man. I'm not like Wu Yuming. He's almost harsh towards love. Only an extremely small number of women can move his heart. As for me, as long as she's beautiful enough, she can move my heart. Then, as long as her character is cute, I'll be addicted to her. Therefore, Ling Wu, Yang Dingtan said slowly, my love isn't mysterious or noble. It's also not some amazing spirit. My love is very superficial. The reason why I don't love you enough is because I've already been stuffed with enough emotions before I met you. I've also lost the impulse to take the initiative to possess a woman. Therefore, if the you back then had come to Cloud Heaven City, I would have been prepared to welcome your arrival, to truly understand you, and to love you. However, if you want me to take the initiative to marry you, I'm sorry, I can't do it. Yang Dingtian drank another cup of tea and sighed. Ling Wu, there's a saying that every woman is an angel. Actually, I agree with this saying, but I don't agree with it at the same time. In this world, there's a large portion of women who are ordinary and ordinary. There's also a portion of women who are vicious. There's only a small portion of women who are complicated and filled with strong personalities. As for you, you seem to be in this small portion because you have a will and self-esteem that's so strong that it's almost abnormal. Of course, this isn't a compliment. Yang Dingan said, in fact, this kind of woman makes me feel intimidated at the sight of her. However, if there's a type of woman in this world who's most worthy of happiness and most worthy of becoming an angel, then you can be one of them. It's just that, the superficial me back then was unable to match your complicated and strong will of emotions. Hearing this, Ling Wu finally couldn't hold back her tears. Like pearls dropping from a necklace, her tears flowed down continuously. Ling Wu, I've once said that you've fallen. I've said that you've betrayed your past. You've started to despise your past and your hard work. Yang Dingtian said slowly, perhaps, I've said most of the wrong things because I didn't know you well enough back then. The reason why you resented running boats, resented your slightly dark skin, and hated your unglamorous clothing. It's not because you've betrayed your past, but because of my responsibility. Ling Wu started to bite her lips and started to tremble continuously. It's because I didn't pick you up. It's because I married Qin Jiaojiao that you felt inferior. You felt that your status wasn't worthy of me. At this time, Wu Yoming's appearance had undoubtedly given you the strength to set an example. Therefore, you took the initiative to change. Not only did you have to be worthy of me, you also had to surpass me. After that, you'll appear before me in a myriad of splendor, making me start to be amazed by you and regret my indifference towards you. Yang Dingtian, this kind of mentality is very normal. It's just like a loser who fell in love with a goddess, but the goddess didn't spare him a glance. Therefore, he worked hard in his heart. I must prosper and appear before the goddess in a dazzling manner one day, making her regret not choosing me back then. Of course, the loser here refers to a man with a lowly status. With a sigh, Yang Dington, it's just that your willpower is too strong. Therefore, you've gone further and further. Furthermore, your wisdom is unable to control your willpower, causing you to lose yourself in your heart. But fundamentally, this can't be considered as self-degradation. Instead, a lot of it is because of me. The true self-degradation is like vulture, because of greed. At this moment, Ling Wu finally couldn't hold it in any longer. She covered her mouth and started to sob intensely. Yang Dingtian didn't stop her. He just let her cry to her heart's content. After crying for close to an hour, she gradually calmed down. She raised her head and asked, Yang Dingen, If you could foresee what would happen later, would you have gone to Inferno Island to pick me up? Yes. If I knew that it would bring you such great harm, I would definitely have gone to pick you up. Yang Dingnan, I've said it before. I'm a superficial man. Therefore, I wouldn't be willing to let a beautiful and unique woman fall into the demonic barrier of the abyss. Ling Wu wiped away the tears on her face. For the first time, she revealed a smile to Yang Dingtian and said, "Actually, I originally wanted to apologize to you. However, there's no need for that now." Ling Wu continued, "Originally, I also wanted to explain to you. I wanted to explain the reason for all my actions and my way of thinking. However, there's no need for that now." Ling Wu continued, "I've even issued a final provocation to you." "That's right, it's a provocation. I just wanted to let you know that I'm not in the wrong even if I'm standing on the side of evil. However, the one in the wrong is you. However, before I even open my mouth, you've already taken the initiative to say that this is your fault. Even if it's actually my fault. I was too obsessed and too prideful. In the name of my personality, I've forced others to do things. Because I love you and want to marry you, yet you didn't give me the same response. I felt that I've suffered great harm and humiliation. In fact, you've never hurt me. On the contrary, you've saved me and my family. Rather than saying that I love you, it's better to say that I love myself too much." Ling Wu drank the tea in her hand. After that, she smiled at Yang Dingnan and said, "All right, I'm truly free now." After that, she walked to the front of Yang Dingnan and said, "If you have even the slightest bit of pity for me, then please give me my final release and kill me with your own hands. All right?" Chapter 728. After the transformation, Ling Wu rushed to the central capital and saw Wu Yuming. "How do you feel?" Wu Yuming looked at Ling Wu. Ling Wu had become so much more beautiful. He couldn't help but look at her in amazement. "I feel very strange." Ling Wu said, "It's different from what I imagined. I thought that the terrifying feeling of darkness would instantly envelop my entire body and make me unable to resist it. However, who knew that it wasn't the case? Instead, it was a kind of light, incomparably blurry and incomparably blissful feeling. I can't describe it. In short, I feel very excited, as if I'm floating in the air." "That's right," Wu Yuming said, "the evil spirit energy has such a subtle influence that makes people fall deeply. Your excitement and blissful feeling will last for a very long time because you were originally too weak. After a period of time, when this excitement and blissful feeling gradually fades away, you will become incomparably sad and dispirited, so much so that you will crazily pursue this feeling again. And the thing that can bring about this feeling is the strength of energy and the rise of authority. Therefore, you can only desperately pursue authority and strength to make yourself stronger and stronger. Moreover, there's no end to it, until your will is completely ruled by the evil spirit energy." "What about you?" Ling Wu asked. "Do you feel excited and blissful when a first-grade evil spirit allows you to break through to the half-saint realm directly?" Wu Ming shook her head vigorously and said, "Little Wu, I'm different from you. My past is too long and heavy, so much so that this little bit of excitement is completely unable to offset the confusion in my heart. Therefore, breaking through to the half-saint realm not only doesn't make me excited, it makes me even more dispirited. This includes Dongfang Bingling. The strength brought about by the first-grade evil spirit energy can only make her suffer incomparably. You know that she was originally the master of the hidden sect. She wanted to become the #1 person in the world through her own efforts. However, the first-grade evil spirit has already destroyed all of her efforts." Following that, Wu Yuming smiled and said, "All right, let's not talk about us. Let's talk about you. How's your talk with Yang Ding?" "Very good." Ling Wu said, "At least I don't hate him anymore. Instead, I hate myself." Wu Yuming said, "Even though this is a deeper obsession, it's still considered an improvement. How did Yang Dington persuade you to give up on suicide?" Ling Wu said, "She said that if I were to commit suicide now, my life would be too worthless. Therefore, I have to work hard to find my own value. The first step is to defeat the invasion of the evil spirit's will." Wu Yuming said, "He didn't want you to defeat the second-class evil spirit. Instead, he wanted you to look at problems from a higher perspective, expand your mind, and further find the value of your life. Do you understand? Ling Wu nodded. Wu Yuming said, second-class evil spirits are like addictive monsters. That feeling of happiness and excitement made you desperately chase after it until you couldn't stop. In the end, the evil spirit completely controlled your will and turned you into its tool, madly chasing after power. Ling Wu said with a trembling voice, Then can I resist it? Direct resistance is meaningless. Wu Yuming said, because can you reject the excitement and happiness in your heart right now? Ling Wu shook her head and said, I can't reject it. In fact, the reason why I returned to the central continent immediately was because I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to resist the happiness in my heart and would rush to Yang Dingtian to woo him. Because I felt that this happiness was gradually destroying my strong self-esteem. That's right. This is how it achieves its purpose of controlling you. Wu Yuming said, unknowingly, it disintegrates your will. Then what should I do? Ling Wu said in shock, I don't want to become an addict and a degenerate. Direct resistance won't work. Wu Yuming said, it's just like you're a small boat and the evil spirit is a surging river. It's simply a pipe dream for you to sail against the current. The only way is to go downstream. Then, isn't that degeneration and loss? Ling Wu said, not only do you have to go downstream, you also have to flow faster than the river. You have to surpass its speed. Wu Yuming said, now, you'll feel incomparable satisfaction and happiness. This feeling will last for a few months. After that, you'll fall into an extreme emptiness. You'll desperately chase after strength to fill yourself up so as to achieve satisfaction once again. However, we can't give it the chance to feel empty. We'll desperately chase after it, desperately satisfy it, and exceed the energy required by a second-grade evil spirit. This way, you'll gradually become numb and completely liberated. Then you can do the same too. Ling Wu said, I can't. Dongfang Bingling can't do it too. We're first-grade evil spirits and can control and suppress our will at any time. Wu Yuming said, you may not know this, but the one instructing Dongfang Bingling to do anything is no longer her own. It's completely the will of the evil spirit. The evil spirit has suppressed all of Dongfang Bingling's will. Do you know what will happen if you relax a little? Dongfang Bingling will commit suicide. Ling Wu said. That's right. Dongfang Bingling will commit suicide. Wu Yuming said, therefore, I've heard that when Dongfang Bingling had just turned into a devil, she had already decided on a duel with Yang Dingtian. I've thought about it carefully. From Dongfang Bingling's standpoint, this kind of duel is unnecessary. Therefore, I suspect that this duel is a trap that Dongfang Bingling has set for herself. She wants Yang Dingtian to kill her. During the duel, the will that she had accumulated for several years will erupt in an instant. After that, she'll lose the duel and die under Yang Dingtian's sword? Ling Wu said. Wu Yuming said, this is merely my guess. Because no matter how I think about it, there's no need for her to duel with Yang Dingtian. As a matter of fact, at that time, she no longer had any desire to battle with Yang Dingtian. And after turning into a devil, there's even less desire. Why do you say that after turning into a devil, she no longer has any desire to battle with Yang Dingtian? Ling Wu asked doubtfully. Firstly, in the mission of evil ways, I'm the only chess piece that can deal with Yang Dingtian. Wu Yuming said, Li Ming also has a certain desire to battle. Because he loves Dongfang Bingling deeply, he's jealous of Yang Dingtian. Only Dongfang Bingling herself, who didn't have any desire to battle at that time, proposed a duel. Therefore, the only explanation is that she wants Yang Dingtian to kill her and free herself from being a first-grade evil spirit. But a person who possesses an evil spirit can't die. Ling Wu said. Others might not be able to kill her, but Yang Dingtian might be able to do it. Wu Yuming said. Ling Wu said, then, does Yang Dingtian know about this matter? Wu Yuming said, he shouldn't know. He doesn't want me to be so meticulous. Ling Wu said, then I want to tell him. Wu Yuming said, but if you tell him, he might make a mistake in the duel and lose his life. Of course, all of this is up to your will. If you want to tell him, you can tell him at any time. Ling Wu immediately sank into contemplation. All right, let's go, Wu Yuming said. Where are we going? Ling Wu asked. Wu Yuming said with a smile, let's go and disband the southern mansion first and let the people from the netherworld see return. After that, I'll bring you to the ends of the earth and let you become stronger in the shortest amount of time. I'll let you defeat the devouring desire of a second-grade evil spirit and break free from its control. How long will it take? Ling Wu asked. Who knows? Maybe a few years, maybe even longer. Wu Yuming said. Ling Wu said, But you have your own things to do. Don't tell me that you'll accompany me and help me become stronger for the next few years? Wu Yuming said, in any case, I can't find any goal in life now. You're also my only family member. I have to find something to do and can't read the newspaper every day. Moreover, the Chaos Times has become an issue every 7 days. I'm about to finish reading all the newspapers that I've saved up previously. Then, under Ling Wu's somewhat incomprehensible gaze, Wu Yuming walked out of the inn and directly entered the southern mansion. Everyone in the southern mansion saw Wu Yuming appear. They were completely stunned in an instant. Then it was boundless ecstasy. At this moment, other than the people from the Sea of Hades, those who were stationed in the southern mansion were the most loyal to the evil ways. Or, it could be said that they were already at the end of their rope. For example, the undying cockroach Shiminju, Qiu Ruhen, and Yang Zheng were all hiding in the southern mansion. If there were still people who hoped for Wu Yuming to return safely, it would be them. However, they were different from Ling Wu. They only treated Wu Yuming as their backing and hope for revenge. Especially Shiminju. The moment he saw Wu Yuming, his entire body practically trembled and he knelt on the ground. After Wu Yuming was defeated, Shiminju and the others were practically in complete despair. Now Wu Yuming had returned. Moreover, she seemed to have become even more profound and unfathomable. How could they not be wild with joy? Sect Master is back. This subordinate pays his respects to Sect Master. Shiminju and the others kowtowed with all their might. Instantly, their entire body was filled with the desire for battle. Wu Yuming said, I'm here to tell you that from today onwards, the southern mansion is disbanded. Just treat me as if I don't exist. Shiminju was stunned and said in disbelief, Could it be that Sect Master wants to give up? I'm not some Sect Master. Wu Yuming said, I'm just a member of the evil ways and one of the nominal foster sons of the Demon King Wentianj. Who cares? Shiminju said, the winner takes all. As long as you win, you'll be the master of the Tiando League. I feel that Yang Dingtian's victory over you was purely coincidental. No matter which aspect you look at, he's far from being your opponent. We still have a huge chance of winning. Say no more. Wu Yuming said, from today onwards, the southern mansion is no more. You can do as you please. Qiu Ruhen said in a cold voice, Sect Master, could it be that you've been scared out of your wits by that despicable Yang Dingtian? Could it be that you're going to be a coward and allow Yang Dingtian to be so arrogant? Wu Yuming looked at her and said, yes, from today onwards, I'll avoid Yang Dingtian. Wherever he is, I'll immediately run 1,000 miles away. Then Wu Yuming directly flashed and disappeared. Then what should we do? Wait for Yang Dingtian to come and slaughter us? Shiminju said loudly. Wu Yuming's voice came from afar. If Princess Mu Dan is willing to accept you, you can go and submit to her. Then he completely disappeared, leaving behind a completely stunned Qiu Ruhen and Shiminju. Even if they were to die, they couldn't imagine why Wu Yuming would be so depressed after a single defeat. He even said that he would avoid Yang Dingtian. Of course, they didn't know that Wu Yuming was like a program. His final fate was written in the code. Either he killed Yang Dingtian and obtained a new life, or he died. Moreover, he was only allowed one chance. Because this was to test the authenticity of his fate. Wu Yuming's defeat proved his fate. He was supposed to die, but someone didn't let him die. Then, if he encountered Yang Dingtian again, it would be like a program encountering a fatal bug. If he encountered someone he was supposed to never meet again, he could only avoid him. Just like that, a few hours later, shocking news came from Zhongjing. The southern mansion was disbanded, the Sea of Hades was withdrawn, and all related personnel were dismissed. Immediately, everyone finally confirmed that Wu Yoming's era was over. As for those Central Continent leaders who were watching in the dark and still had hope, their final hope was also cut off. Wu Yuming had been walking in this world for countless years. In order to defeat God's spokesperson, he had been walking in this world with the identity of an invisible person for close to 100 years, constantly making himself stronger. Therefore, he was only half a step away from becoming a half-sage previously. Therefore, his understanding of this world had far surpassed Dongfang Minmi. He couldn't be more familiar with which place would give birth to mystic flames and which place would have secret realms. He wanted to bring Ling Wu to devour all the mystic flames he knew of and to train in all the secret realms he knew of. He wanted Ling Wu to walk in front of the second-grade evil spirit and help her defeat the second-grade evil spirit. In any case, he had nothing else to do. Wu Yuming met Dongfang Bingling on the sea after leaving the Central Continent. "Where are you going?" Dongfang Bingling asked. "To bring Ling Wu to cultivate." Wu Yuming said. "But you should complete your mission." Dongfang Bingling said, "The world exterminating army is about to descend, but they still lack a human commander. You should find a suitable candidate and bestow your second-grade evil spirits so that they can become the backbone of the world exterminating army in the future. You must know that the Temple of Blood and Pleasure Palace are already half disintegrated." Wu Yuming said, "I know, but I don't want to do this because this isn't my mission." Princess Mudan said, "You're the adopted son of His Majesty the Demon King and not Dongfang Bingling. We don't want to use the will of the evil spirits to suppress your soul directly. Don't force us to deal with you like how we dealt with Dongfang Bingling." Wu Yuming said, "The reason why I tried my best to defeat Yang Dingtian was so that I could be reborn and become a real person. If you want to suppress my will like how you dealt with Dongfang Bingling, then do as you please." Princess Mudan said, "Then, are you going to ignore His Majesty the Demon King's orders?" Wu Yuming said, "He's my everything, my sky and my earth. I've been carrying out his orders all my life, and he only gave me one order, which was to defeat Yang Dingtan and challenge fate. It's just that I failed and you didn't let me die. Other missions are none of my business." Princess Mudan stared coldly at Wu Yuming for a long while. Then, she suddenly flapped her wings of light and flew towards the direction of the Dongli grassland in the northwest. One of the adopted sons that His Majesty the Demon King placed in the primal chaos world had already been crippled. The remaining one couldn't be crippled anymore. Wu Yoming's only mission was to defeat Yang Dingtian and take control of the Tiando League. He failed. Dongli's mission was to conquer the Naga race and make all the Naga race fall in love with him. Then, he would give birth to a demigod race and become the absolute ally of the evil ways. Therefore, Princess Mudan wanted to urge Dongli to speed up the pace of conquering the Naga race. Furthermore, she had already found the key to make the Naga race fall in love with him. Looking at Bing Ling's departing figure, Ling Wu asked, "Where is she going?" "To the Dongli grassland." Wu Yuming said. Ling Wu asked, "Why is she going to the Dongli grassland?" "She wants to urge Dongli to speed up the pace of conquering Queen Hai Exin." Wu Yuming said, "In this world, only Yang Dingtian has successfully impregnated a demonic fox. And only Yang Dingtian is able to make the Naga race fall in love with him. In the past, no one knew why. However, after the battle between Yang Dingtian and I, an extremely small number of people saw the key." Ling Wu asked. "The darkness profound flame is the key to making the Naga race fall in love with him." Wu Yuming said, "Yang Dingtian possessed a higher grade darkness profound flame. That was why he was able to defeat me in an instant." Queen Hai Exin had indeed suspected that the darkness profound flame could make the Naga race fall in love with him. However, I have the darkness profound flame. Therefore, she had secretly met me before. However, she realized that I was unable to make her fall in love with him. Therefore, she and Dongli gave up on this route. Actually, this route is correct. The reason why I am unable to make Queen Hai Exin fall in love with him is because I am not a complete man. You have also discovered this point by accident a few days ago." Ling Wu's face immediately turned red. She said gently, "Big brother Wu, no matter how you are in the eyes of others, you will always be in my heart. In my heart, you will always be the best man. Wu Yuming looked at Ling Wu with a gaze that was filled with gentleness and pity. He smiled slightly. Mu Dan also knows about this point? Then, does she know how to know about the darkness profound flame? Ling Wu asked. She definitely doesn't know about the details. Wu Yuming said, however, for a top expert, this kind of thing can be easily seen through. Yan Shimin was once poisoned by the darkness crystal. Yang Dingtian saved her. As a result, he obtained the darkness profound flame. With a little speculation, one can come to a conclusion. Then, is Dongli also able to create the darkness profound flame and make Queen Hai Xan fall in love with him? Ling Wu asked. Perhaps. Wu Yuming said. Then what should we do? Wouldn't Queen Hai Xan be in danger and fall into Dongli's demonic clutches? Ling Wu said. Wu Yuming said, perhaps, Dongli would fall into Hai Xian's demonic clutches. Hai Xian has always wanted to obtain a man who can make her fall in love with him. However, Yang Dingtian is too dangerous and too hard to control. Therefore, she has never officially made a move. Furthermore, she wanted to borrow my hand to get rid of Yang Dingtian the last time. Ling Wu said, Then do we need to inform Yang Dingtian immediately? Wu Yuming said, you decide. If you want to inform him, then go ahead and inform him. As for me, I don't have this motivation. Although I won't kill him and avoid him, I also don't have this motivation to help him. Because I don't care if Hai Xen has an illicit relationship with Dongli and gives birth to a descendant. Ling Wu was stunned for a moment. She was thinking in her heart whether she should inform Yang Dingtian about this matter. Chapter 729. At this moment, the central capital was extremely busy. Yang Dingtian should have left the Cloud Heaven City and returned to the central capital, but before Yao Rao's matter was settled, he couldn't leave. Therefore, this was the longest time that Yang Dingtian had ever spent with his family. Finally, his eldest son, Yang Li, was more or less close to his father. Yang Li was already over 3 years old and was considered a big child. His personality and Dugu Fengwu's personality were becoming more and more obvious. He was very domineering, but also very magnanimous. Yang Yi was almost 1.5 years old, but he didn't look much younger than Yang Li. Furthermore, he was astonishingly beautiful. He didn't speak much, but his enunciation was very clear. When he answered questions, he was very accurate. Sometimes, his answers even shocked Yang Dingtian. According to Yao Rao, Yang Yi had never formally learned how to speak. When the adult spoke, he would listen at the side and then open his mouth to learn. When he could speak correctly, he would then speak. Although Yang Qin was slightly older than him, she still couldn't speak fluently. She spoke in a childish voice. Only daddy, mommy, grandma, and big brother could speak more clearly. Because she was the only girl among the babies, she received the most doting. Yang Dingtian also liked this baby very much. It looked like a doll and was soft and chubby when he held it in his hands. It was unexpectedly well-behaved and rarely cried. It was born with a natural fondness for smiling. Even when it wasn't smiling, its eyes and mouth would curve as if it was smiling. Therefore, although Yang Dingtian spent most of his time with the babies, he was basically holding Yang Qin in his hands. When he was telling stories, Yang Dingtian widened his eyes and looked at him with admiration. Moreover, he would ask questions from time to time. This child seemed to be very eager to get Yang Dingtian's attention and affirmation. As for him, Yang Dingtian didn't hesitate to praise him. Yang Li, on the other hand, was moving around and twisting around, pretending not to listen carefully. In fact, he heard every word clearly. In short, this child was very rebellious. As for Yang Yi, he was the most serious child. He sat on the ground and sat very straight. He listened quietly and even thought. However, he was only a little over a year old. As for baby Yang Qin, she couldn't understand what her father was saying at all. She just lay in her father's arms and stared at her father's mouth that kept opening and closing. She found it very amusing. Then, when others laughed, she also laughed. His eldest daughter, Yang Ning'o, was almost 9 years old and no longer listened to stories. She had already requested to spend some time alone with Yang Dingtian. First, she would practice her swordsmanship in front of Yang Dingtian so that he could give her pointers. After the exchange of martial arts, she would also exchange her views on current affairs with Yang Dingtian. In short, she wanted to prove to Yang Dingtian that she had grown up. Last night, Yang Dingtian finally told Yan Yan, Ning Ro, and Mul Yeni that they should take this opportunity to have a few more babies in the valley. Ning Ro and Mul Yeni were both very happy. As for Yan Yan, she said that Yang Li was still too young and still needed her mother's love. Yang Dingtian said that Yang Li's rebellious heart was very strong now. She was too dependent on Shimin Yan Yan and wanted to monopolize her. Furthermore, as she grew older, her possessiveness towards Yang Dingtian was also very strong. These days, although she deliberately acted impatient in front of Yang Dingtian, she had never left his side. Furthermore, she tried her best to show off and even pretended to be casual. Therefore, she had to learn how to share, especially maternal love. Therefore, it was time for Yan Yan to give birth to a baby. Then, with joy and longing, Yan Yan worked hard to give birth to a little life in her stomach. At noon, a familiar voice sounded in Yang Dingtian's ears. It was the annoying racist voice. Yang Dingtian, come to the poison strait in the north to meet me. I can't smell you humans. Yang Dingtian was still carrying Yang Qin. After telling the story, he handed the children to his master's wife and wife. Then, he flew to the poison strait in the north of Cloud Sky City alone. Don't get too close to me. Just talk like this. Yao Li immediately reached out to stop Yang Dingtian from getting closer. At this moment, the two of them were more than 100 meters apart. Yang Dingtian couldn't help but frown. She was really a hopeless racist. If you have something to say it quickly, Yang Dingtian said unhappily. You can leave that child behind immediately, but Yao Rao must come with me. Yao Li said, this is my biggest concession. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Yang Dingtian said, I'm very curious. What are you planning to do with Yao Rao back to Little Western Paradise? Yao Li said, of course it's to get married and be together forever to give birth to the purest silver fox offspring. Yang Dingtian said, don't you hate humans? Yao Rao and I had the most intimate relationship. Her body had the smell of me, a human. Why don't you mind? Yao Li's body suddenly twitched. She said coldly, Yang Dingtian monkey, this is the second time you want to throw shit at me. If it happens again, I will be very sorry to you. Don't threaten me. Just answer the question, Yang Dingtian said. Yao Li clenched her fists and said, then let me ask you a question too. Do you love your wife? I love her very much, Yang Dingtian said. Then, if you didn't protect her well and caused her to be defiled by a beast, would you despise your wife? Yao Li sneered. Yang Dingtian frowned and said, although I hate your description and analogy, I understand what you mean. I also admire your infatuation and breadth of mind. However, you are mistaken about one thing. Yao Rao is my woman and my legal wife. We are very much in love. Yao Li said sternly, she has been in your human country for too long and has been corrupted by you. That's why she is lost. As soon as she returns to the Little Western Paradise, she will immediately wake up. She will look down on this relationship and want nothing more than to wash away every mark you have left on her. Yang Dingtian's mouth twitched slightly. It seems that other than your pride and magnanimity, you have no intelligence. The third time, Yang Dingtian monkey, you threw shit at me for the third time. You have used up all 3 chances, Yao Li said coldly. Yao Li said coldly, if there's a next time, I'll stomp you to death like an ant. The nobility of the Silver Dragon bloodline cannot be violated. Yang Dingtian originally wanted to say that she was just a bastard and that it had happened for the 4th time. However, he remembered that Yang Yi baby was also a hybrid between him and Yao Li. How could he bear to say that? Thus, he shut his mouth and didn't say anything. 7 days. Yang Ding, you have 7 days to choose, Yao Li said coldly. You can either agree to my request and leave your child behind. I will take Yao Rao away and help you defeat the so-called evil ways. Otherwise, I will forcefully take Yao Rao and your child away. You will get nothing. If you dare to stop me, I will kill you. After saying that, Yao Li disappeared into thin air. Yang Dingtian closed his eyes and began to think about how to deal with this sick racist. When Yang Dingtian returned to Cloud Sky City, the Jiao Liao was extremely anxious because she didn't know where Yang Dingtian had gone. Furthermore, she had received an extremely urgent report a few hours ago. Sectmaster, this is the report we received 8 hours ago. Someone stopped our patrolling winged cavalry and passed it to you. However, we don't know where you went, the Jiao Liao said. Yang Dingtian took it immediately. It was a piece of snow-white silk. The words on it were faint blue and were written with mystical qi flames. Mu Dan went to the Dongli grassland to help Dongli obtain the darkness mystical flame in order to achieve his goal of conquering the Snake Queen. Quickly go and stop her. The handwriting was very beautiful and delicate. As for the signature, there was only one word. Wu. It was Ling Wu. This report was given by Ling Wu. Almost instinctively, Yang Dingtian didn't have any doubts about this report. What about the patrolling winged cavalry who received the report? Have you seen it? Yang Dingtian asked. He didn't open it. However, according to the regulations, he was already in the secret pavilion. After receiving the report, he took the initiative to distance himself from all the other patrolling winged cavalry and didn't have any contact. Therefore, this report only passed through him and me, the Jiao Liao said. Yang Dingtian said, follow Madame Shimin to the secret pavilion and wait for the spiritual master to wash away this memory. Including that patrolling winged cavalry, wash away this memory together. The Jiao Liao said. Then, she quickly locked all the mystic meridians in her body so that she couldn't speak or write. Madame Shimin came in, carried her and walked toward the secret pavilion. Actually, Ling Wu couldn't have used such a direct method to transmit this level of information. This involved the top secret of how to conquer the snake race. However, she wasn't Yang Dingtian's subordinate after all. It was already very hard for her to pass this information to Yang Dingtian. It seemed that her second-grade evil spirit had undergone a transformation after being activated, which made her somewhat afraid to meet Yang Dingtian. Yang Dingtian shook lightly and this piece of silk instantly turned into ashes. This piece of information was too important. Yang Dingtian knew very well why he could make the snake race and Yao Rao go into estrus. It was the darkness mystical flame. Because when Yen Yen had the darkness crystallization in her body and met Yao Rao for the first time, Yao Rao was already restless. Even though it hadn't reached the stage of estrus, it was still very budding. From then on, Yang Dingtian knew that the thing that made the snake race and demon fox race go into estrus was the energy of the black hole and the darkness mystical flame. Wu Yuming wasn't a complete man, so she couldn't make the snake race go into estrus. However, not only was Dongli a complete man, he was also a pervert. Once he possessed the darkness mystical flame, he could make Queen Hai Xen go into estrus anytime. Then, he could possibly rule the entire snake race. The consequences would be unimaginable. In that case, could Dongli create the darkness mystical flame? The darkness mystical flame was very mysterious. However, once the theory was pointed out, it wouldn't be difficult. Yang Dingtian could create the darkness mystical flame. Wu Yuming could also create the darkness mystical flame. Naturally, Dongli could also create it. As long as the energy of the mystical flame and the darkness crystal reached a balance, the darkness mystical flame would be born when both parties perished together and couldn't devour each other. Of course, the darkness mystical flame created by Dongli might be very weak. It was far from being comparable to Wu Yoming's and Yang Dingtian's. However, so what? This thing wasn't used for battle. It was used to make the snake race go into estrus. Just a little of it would do. He had to stop it. Furthermore, he had to stop it immediately. Once Dongli conquered Queen Hai Xin and the snake race, the consequences would be unimaginable. In order to stop Dongli, Yang Dingtian had to resort to unscrupulous means. If necessary, he wouldn't hesitate to betray himself and seduce Queen Hai Xin. He wanted to impregnate Hai Xin before Dongli did. After making the decision, Yang Dingtian didn't even have the time to gather Dongfang Minmi or Dishi Bian to go with him. There was no time at all. He had to deal with Queen Hai Xin before Dongli did. Before leaving, Yang Dingtian met with Yao Rao again. He told her that he had something very important to do and he had to leave. However, he would be back in 3 to 5 days at most. Yao Rao only said one sentence. "Don't worry, my husband. If Yao Li wants to take me away, I'll have to die. Moreover, you don't have to worry about Yao Li. I have confidence in dealing with Yao Li." Yang Dingtian nodded and kissed her deeply on the lips. Then he rode on the Demon Vulture King and flew towards the Dongli grassland at his fastest speed. He had made the decision. In terms of martial strength, he wasn't Dongli's opponent. Therefore he had to go all the way. He had to take down Hai Xen and cook her thoroughly first. Chapter 730. He couldn't let Dongli succeed. He couldn't let him get Queen Hai Xen. Yang Dingtian had to make the first move and cut off all of Dongli's escape routes. It wouldn't take too long to deal with Queen Hai Xen. If necessary, it wouldn't take more than a few days to deal with the 4 commanders and 16 generals of the Naga tribe. That's right, Yang Dingtian really had such a plan. There was a saying, "I'm not a casual person. I'm not a person when I'm casual." There were 4 commanders and 16 generals of the Naga Empire. Although there were less than 10 great masters and 1/2 saint now, their potential was too great. It could be said that these 20 to 30 high-level Naga tribe members could all break through to the half-saint level in the future. So for this trip, it wasn't enough to deal with Queen Hai Xen alone. If he wanted to conquer, he had to conquer all the high-level Naga tribe members. Again, he was not a person when he was casual. In short, not a single high-level Naga tribe member could be left for Dongli. Although after Hai Xen got pregnant, the first person she would kill would probably be Yang Dingtian, the situation was urgent and there was no other way. There were still 7 days before the deadline given by Yao Li. Even if Yang Dingtian conquered all the high-level Naga tribe members, he would only have 3 or 4 days at most. It was enough for him to return to Cloud Sky City. Cloud Sky City was almost 20,000 miles away from the Naga Empire. With the speed of Demon Vulture King Aja, it would only take 10 hours. Aja flew thousands of meters in the air and whizzed past. On the sea between the northwest continent and the Dongli grassland, there were ships passing by occasionally. Moreover, they were medium to large ships. In the past, there was almost no contact between the human countries and the Dongli grassland. But now, there were so many ships heading to the Naga Empire. Yang Dingtian knew who these people were. They were all defeated leaders of Zhongzhou state who were unwilling to accept the rule of the Yang Dingtian Council of Light, so they went into exile in the Snakemen Empire. It was easy for Yang Dingtian's fleet to stop them, but Yang Dingtian just wanted to test whether anyone dared to shelter these Zhongzhou state leaders. At that time, most of the Central Continent's leaders were exiled from Sky Demon City, and very few of them went to the Snakemen Empire. However, Sky Demon City did not dare to offend Yang Dingtian at this time. Not only did they refuse the Central Continent leaders' request for refuge, they even sent people to escort these exiled leaders back to the Council of Light's sphere of influence. Left with no choice, these Central Continent leaders could only flee to the Snakemen Empire. Yang Dingtian wanted to see if the Snake People Empire would take in these Central Continent leaders. In the end, Queen Hai Xen really took them in. Thus, the leaders of Central Continent continuously went to the Snakemen Empire. Queen Hai Xen's heart was strange and unpredictable. It was really hard to understand. 8 hours later, Yang Dingtian flew to the sky above the Dongli grassland. At this time, it had been a full year and a half since Yang Dingtian left the Dongli grassland. And in this year and a half, the Dongli grassland had completely changed. When he first entered the Dongli grassland, Yang Dingtian felt everything very clearly. The most magnificent and most powerful defense line in history stood in front of him. The huge city wall was dozens of meters high, like a giant dragon, and he could not see the end of it. Yang Dingtian knew how long this city wall was. It surrounded the entire Dongli grassland. Every few miles was an incomparably sturdy castle. And the sea outside the city wall was densely packed with all kinds of warships. These were the fleets of the Snakemen Empire. Every place on the city wall was a fully armed half-human race army. In the air, the dense patrolling winged cavalry crisscrossed. The half-human race army, especially the several major combat tribes, was far more powerful than the human army. The entire Snakeman Empire had hundreds of millions of troops. Therefore, in terms of military power, the Snakemen Empire was far more powerful than the Council of Light. Of course, the Council of Light's armed forces were far more powerful than the Snakemen Empire. In order not to cause unnecessary trouble, Yang Dingtian directly let the demon vulture King Azu fly to an altitude of 20,000 meters and directly whistled in the night. Therefore, the extremely strict air patrol of the Snakeman Empire did not find any trace of Yang Dingtian at all. After an hour and a half, Yang Dingtian came to the sky above the capital of the Snakeman Empire. The capital of the Snakeman Empire was completely different from when Yang Dingtian left. This was a city almost larger than Zhongjing. Incomparably magnificent buildings stood in every corner of the capital. The architectural style here was completely different from that of the human countries. All of them were made of stone and filled with the mysterious aura of an underwater empire. In the center of the capital, there was an incomparably huge pyramid. The pyramid was thousands of meters high, like a huge mountain, standing in the center of the Snakemen Empire. This pyramid did not exist a year and a half ago. Yang Dingtian could not imagine how such an amazing pyramid could be built in just a year and a half. The tallest pyramid of the Egyptians was only 100 meters high, and it took an unknown number of years. The pyramid of the Snakemen Empire was thousands of meters high, and it only took a year and a half. Of course, the national strength of the Snakemen Empire was not just 100 times, 1,000 times, or 10,000 times more than ancient Egypt. At the top of the pyramid was an incomparably beautiful statue. This was Queen Hai Exen, half human and half snake, coiled at the top of the pyramid. This statue was lifelike, beautiful and enchanting to the extreme. She was high on the pyramid, overlooking all living beings. Almost as soon as he entered the range of the pyramid, Yang Dingtian was discovered, even at an altitude of 20,000 meters. Whoosh 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 whoosh. For beautiful women with snake tails and human faces, like meteors, rushed up to 20,000 meters in the air. Then, they used their powerful Xian Qi to instantly lock onto Yang Dingtian. Of course, at this time, they could no longer lock onto Yang Dingtian. It was just that he did not resist. These 4 female Snakemen generals were very unfamiliar. But they were all great grandmasters. Who is it? How dare you trespass into the Imperial Golden Palace? The leader of the Snakemen generals said coldly. The leader of the Tiando League in the human countries, Yang Dingtian said, "Of course, I also have another identity, which is the husband of your Princess Huangyu." Princess Huangyu? The leader of the Snakemen generals said disdainfully, "Even if you are the husband of Princess Huangyu, trespassing into the Imperial Golden Palace is a crime punishable by death. We will send your head back to the human countries." Her words showed that she did not put the Tiando League and the Council of Light in her eyes at all. Yang Dingtian's eyes narrowed and he said, "It's better if you go and report. Don't forget. I once fought side by side with your Queen Hai Exen. I contributed the most to your queen's ascension." The 4 female Snakemen generals suddenly stabbed their swords. Boom! The energy in Yang Dingtian's body, mixed with the Xian flame, burned fiercely. Then this energy and flame rushed toward the 4 female Snakemen generals. What was Yang Dingtian trying to do? Of course, he wanted to make the female Snakemen generals transform. Although the 4 of them together were not his match, it would save him a lot of trouble if they did not have to fight. Moreover, conquering the Snakemen race would start with these 4 female Snakemen generals. However, what puzzled Yang Dingtian was that the 4 female Snakemen generals did not have any reaction to Yang Dingtian's flame. Not to mention that they did not transform into human form, they did not become aroused. Even their hostility did not decrease at all. This should not be. What was going on? Why did the 4 female Snakemen generals not transform into human form? Moreover, Yang Dingtian had seen the 4 great commanders and the 16 great generals. You dare to attack? You are courting death. The female Snakemen general's beautiful face flicked out her tongue, and her expression became ferocious. Then, she suddenly turned into a stream of light and stabbed her sharp sword toward Yang Ding. It seemed that he had no choice but to fight. Yang Dingtian did not unsheath his sword. He smashed it against the female Snakeman general's sword and shook it. Instantly, the female Snakeman general's sword turned red, and then turned into bloody black gold liquid and dripped down. The female Snakeman generals were shocked. She did not expect to meet such an expert like Yang Dingtian. Then her snake tongue flicked out, emitting a special sound wave that humans could not hear. Whoosh 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 whoosh. In an instant, more than a dozen snakemen experts shot into the air like meteors. Among them, 4 or 5 were martial grandmasters, and the remaining half were advanced martial grandmasters. However, there was still not a single familiar face among them. What was going on? How was this possible? How did so many experts appear in the Snakemen tribe? It had only been a year and a half. Even if it was accelerated, there was no way to produce so many martial grandmasters at once. What exactly did Queen Hai Exin do to these Snakemen tribe? At this moment, Yang Dingtian was surrounded by 8 or 9 martial grandmasters. The leader of the group was wearing a purple mask and had reached the level of a 9-star martial grandmaster. However, from his eyes, Yang Dingtian seemed to have seen him before. He should have been one of the Snakemen tribe's higher-ups, if not one of the 4 great commanders, then one of the 16 great generals. Although he was powerful now and was already a 6-star martial grandmaster, it was still impossible for him to defeat 8 or 9 martial grandmasters. "Are you Yang Dingtian?" the leader of the 9-star martial grandmasters asked. "Are you Viper Z?" Yang Dingtian asked, "Have you searched my body before?" Yang Dingtian remembered that when Yang Dingtian went to see Queen Poisa, Viper Z was the one who searched his body. At that time, she was considered Queen Poisa's personal guard, one of the 16 great generals. However, at that time, she had not broken through to the martial grandmaster level, but was just about to break through. Now, she was a 9-star martial grandmaster. How did she do it? And most importantly, she had once fallen in love with Yang Dingtian. Once the Snakemen fell in love, they would never be able to erase it. At this moment, she looked at Yang Dingtian with a very cold and emotionless gaze. "Why did you see the queen?" Viper Z asked. "Important," Yang Dingtian said. Viper Z looked at him deeply and said, "Wait a moment, I'll go and report." Then she instantly turned into a stream of light and shot into the pyramid. After a short while, Viper Z returned. "The queen is waiting for you. Please follow me." After that, she turned into a stream of light and flew toward the pyramid's main hall. Yang Dingtian immediately followed. Then he prayed in his heart, hoping that it was not too late. He hoped that Dongli had not succeeded. He hoped that Dongli had not obtained Queen Hai Xi and at the top of the pyramid. In the most dazzling palace, Yang Dingtian saw the peerless beauty, the devastatingly beautiful Queen Hai Exin. She seemed to be even more beautiful than the last time Yang Dingtian saw her. She was the kind of beauty that would make you feel ashamed at first glance. She was the kind of beauty that could almost blind you. In terms of pure beauty and special temperament, she had already caught up with Queen Poisa. And her cultivation was much stronger than a year and a half ago. At least, Yang Dingtian could feel an unfathomable aura. Even in front of Wu Yu and Wolingzi, Yang Dingtian could not feel such a terrifying and deep energy. The Snakemen were indeed the Snakemen. He did not know what methods she used to make herself so strong, but also those unfamiliar female Snakemen generals. Yang Dingtian stepped forward and bowed. Yang Dingtian greets mother-in-law. "No, you don't have to pretend." Queen Hai Exin said, "I believe you already know that your mother-in-law should be Queen Poisa. Dugu Shuang, Dufengwu's mother, and also my good elder sister, Queen Poisa. I am the one who conspired to usurp the throne. You were deceived by me and killed Queen Poisa." Yang Dingtian trembled violently. Of course, his shock was not because of the content of these words. It was because Hai Exin had completely torn off the face of the saintess. It was obvious that she had nothing to fear. After being the empire's queen for a year and a half, her heart and willpower had become incomparably strong. She was no longer like before, when she was secretly hiding things from Yang Dingtian. Yang Dingtian greets Her Majesty the Queen. Yang Dingtian changed the way he addressed her. I believe you have seen it for yourself. I have finished what my elder sister did not finish. In fact, I have done it better than her. Queen Hyexian said slowly, in the near future, the Snake Men Empire will become the strongest empire in the entire primal chaos world. In the near future, the human kingdoms will also crawl under the feet of the Snake Men Empire. Power was indeed a poison, an incomparably terrifying poison. In just a year and a half as queen, Hyexian had completely torn off all her hypocrisy and became so naked. Speak, why are you looking for me? Queen Hyexian said. Yang Dingnan said, Queen, to ask for help? Against who? Hyexian asked. Little Western Paradise, the young lord of one of the demon fox tribes, Yao Li, Yang Dingtian said. What is it? What is his cultivation level? Hyexian asked. My wife, Yao Rao, is a black-tailed demon fox from Little Western Paradise. She was once Yao Li's fiancée. He wants to take her away by force. Yang Dingtian said, and this Yao Li, I am no match for him. Half-saint? Hyexian asked. I don't know, he should be more than 1,000 years old. Yang Dingtian said, in short, I gathered all the experts of the Council of Light, but they were no match for him. Hyexian said, you want me to help you get rid of him? Yang Dingtian said. Hyexian said, what price are you willing to pay? It's very simple, you will see soon. Yang Dingtian, who was originally respectful, suddenly said domineeringly. Then, he rushed over and pushed Queen Hyexian down. Queen Hyexian was caught off guard and was instantly brought to the ground by Yang Dingtian. Chapter 731. Hyexian was furious at first. No one had ever dared to be so impudent to the so-called Supreme Queen. But when she smelled the unique energy in Yang Dingtian's rough and violent aura, her heart swayed and she was instantly mesmerized. Yang Dingtian kissed her little mouth fiercely. Although Queen Hyexian was devastatingly beautiful, Yang Dingtian was not that anxious. But at this time, he wanted to catch her off guard and settle the situation in the shortest time possible. Hyexian did not expect Yang Dingtian's sudden action at all. And she could not reject the unique energy in Yang Dingtian's body, so she instantly fell into a daze. If they were husband and wife, Yang Dingtian would definitely take it step by step. But now, it could be said that they were in a war. The most important thing was to take her down as soon as possible. Yang Dingtian made a prompt decision to take down Queen Hyexian. Suddenly, Queen Hyexian's eyes flashed with a painful light, then she suddenly struck out with her palm. Yang Dingtian's body flew out like a straw and smashed into the golden wall, spitting out blood. Queen Hyexian sat up from the bed, panting, and wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth. Of course, Yang Dingtian's blood was from the internal injury caused by the palm. And Queen Hyexian's blood was from Yang Dingtian biting her tongue and the corner of her mouth. Yang Ding, I purposely seduced you that day and flirted with you, but you looked at me with disgust. Why are you so impatient today? Hyexian picked up a bottle of clear water and poured it into her mouth, trying to cool herself down. Queen Hyexian did not hide her sarcastic tone in her words. Yang Dingtian wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and said, Isn't it because I have something to ask of your majesty? Yang Dingtian's reply also felt a little shameless. No, of course not, Hyexian sneered. You hate me in your heart, but you don't want me to fall into Dongli's hands. Because the secret of you making the Naga race and the demonic fox race go into heat has already been exposed, and that is the darkness profound flame. As for Dongli, he was creating the darkness profound flame. Once he succeeds, he will be able to make me fall in love and impregnate me. That way, he would become the husband of the queen and obtain the incomparably powerful strength of the Naga Empire. That's why you couldn't wait to rush to the Naga Empire to forcefully cook rice, right? Yang Dingtian did not speak, nor did he refute. Your so-called request to kill Yao Li for you is also a lie, Hyexian said. The Little Western Paradise is a world created by the fallen silver dragon. How powerful is it? If I kill Yao Li, countless Silver Dragon bloodline warriors will become enemies with the Snake Men Empire. You clearly know that I won't agree, and you definitely won't ask me to help kill Yao Li. You only rely on yourself for everything, and you didn't even ask me to help you deal with Wolingzi, so why would you ask me about Yao Li? Your Majesty is indeed unparalleled in intelligence. Yang Dingnun stood up and walked in front of Hai Exin, stared at her impudently, and said, "Then Your Majesty, how are you going to deal with me?" "Wait, we will wait together." Hai Exin said, "When Dongli succeeds in creating the darkness profound flame, and when he can make me give birth to a demigod descendant, you can die." "How ruthless of you!" Yang Dingtian pinched Hai Exin's neck, bit it, and then merged his blood into her wound. That's right, he definitely wouldn't give up. He still wanted to think of a way to let his blood enter her body, and make Queen Hai Exin enter an even more intense state of passion and lose her mind. Hai Exin's heart trembled, and she almost lost her mind. Immediately, Yang Dingtian's unique aura merged into her blood. Queen Hai Exin almost couldn't resist. Bang! She suddenly slapped out, and directly sent Yang Dingtian flying, spitting out blood. Immediately, Yang Dingtian's profound veins felt as if they were about to be torn apart inch by inch. His internal injuries had become even more serious. Hai Exin's attacks were indeed ruthless. "Yang Ding, you can play with me, but it won't be good if you make such big movements and bite me until I bleed." Hai Exin sneered. Yang Dingtian smiled and said, "You'd rather let that bastard Dongli take advantage of you than let me take advantage of you, right?" "Of course." Hai Exin smiled and said, "A queen can only have a gigolo, and not a husband. You, Yang Dingtian, don't have any greed and are too selfless. I can't control you, and you can't become my gigolo. But Dongli is different. Not to mention being a gigolo, even if he were to be a dog, he would be willing. Your Majesty, don't forget, Dongli belongs to the evil ways, and is one of the adopted sons of the Demon King Wen Yin. How could he be so easily controlled by you?" Yang Dingnun smiled and said, "I want to cooperate with the evil ways. Dongli and I can be used as a bridge for cooperation." Queen Hai Exin giggled and said, "You should know that I've taken in many leaders of the Central Continent, and they are all officials in my empire. I promise them that when my Snake People Empire completely destroys the human countries in the future, they will rule the entire human race in my place. They are wild with joy, and can't wait to kneel down and lick the soles of my shoes. But how noble am I? How can I let these lowly humans lick the soles of my shoes?" Yang Dingtian's smile gradually disappeared and said, "But if I die, the human countries will be in a state of disunity. At that time, the World Extermination War won't happen. If the World Extermination War won't happen, it will go against the Demon King Wen Tian's will. What does that have to do with me?" Queen Hai Exin said indifferently, "I want to cooperate with them, but it doesn't mean that I have to obey their interests. What I want is the human countries, and a tool that can help me conceive. That's all." Then Queen Hai Exin gently bent down and laid down on her side. Yang Dingtian, in the ancient times, the Naga Empire wiped out tens of billions of underwater life forms, ruled the entire underwater world, and established the most powerful empire in history. Hai Exin giggled and said, "Now, it's my turn to establish the most powerful empire in history. The lands that have already been discovered, and the lands that have yet to be discovered. From the eastern cloud state to the far west continent, from the North Pole to the Snow Tribe in the South Pole, all of them will become the territory of my Naga Empire. Do you think that you, a mere Yang Dingtian, can compare to my ambition?" Yang Dingtian said, "It seems that power is really an incomparable poison. A year and a half ago, just usurping the Naga Empire was enough to make you extremely satisfied. But now, the entire primal chaos world seems to be unable to satisfy your appetite. The empire is as big as your heart, and the more power you have, the more your heart is." Queen Hai Exin hooked her finger and said, "Dongli is about to succeed. You don't have much time left to live. During this time, you should enjoy your last moments." "Hai Exin, where's Huang Yu?" Yang Dingnun suddenly asked. "She fell out with me." Hai Exin said indifferently, "She ran off to do something she shouldn't do." She's challenging my bottom line. What about Viper Mo and the others? Yang Dingtian asked. They were purged, but I couldn't bear to kill them. Hai Xian said. What about Day by Day Bella and the elites of the resistance? Yang Dingtian asked. They were exiled. Hai Xian said, my tolerance for them is already very high, but they still crossed my bottom line. Why can't those female Naga generals fall in love? Yang Dingtian asked. Because I removed something from their bodies and removed it. Hai Xian said indifferently, so, they will never fall in love again. Yang Dingtian's eyebrows suddenly twitched. Queen Hai Xian wanted to rule the entire world. Only she alone would be allowed to give birth to the demigod tribe. Then, why did Viper Z and those female Naga generals suddenly become so strong? Yang Dingtian asked. Hai Xian smiled and said, of course there's a reason, but it's not convenient to tell you. After all, we Nagas are different from you humans. Yang Dingtian looked at the dome of the palace and said, I once thought that you would change like this, but I didn't expect it to happen so quickly. You're too naive, Yang Dingtian. Queen Seaheart said indifferently, not everyone is as stupid as you. Not everyone is as disdainful as you. You really want to kill me? Yang Dingtian asked. Queen Hai Xian said, yes, your growth is too terrifying. If I give you a few more years, you might be even stronger than me. At that time, the one dead will be me. My dream of the Naga Empire will be completely shattered. So, I won't let you live. Then what if Dongli doesn't succeed in creating the darkness profound flame? Yang Dingtian asked. Hai Xian said, how can it not succeed? Isn't it just to balance the energy of the darkness profound flame burning the darkness crystal, and let the two perish together to give birth to the flame? If Dongli doesn't succeed in such a simple matter, then he can die. Then she took out an incomparably gorgeous golden dagger and handed it to Yang Dingtian. Look at this dagger, I made it especially for you. Yang Dingtian took it and looked. It was really made especially for Yang Dingtian, because there was a sculpture of Yang Dingtian on the hilt. Originally, it was a gift for you. Now that you are no longer irreplaceable, I might as well use it to send you on your way. Hai Xian opened her jade-like hand gently and the golden dagger was instantly sucked into her palm. Then, she slowly placed it on Yang Dingtian's neck and said gently, as long as Dongli succeeds, I will use this dagger to cut off your head and use the golden sculpture to create your body. I will make you a complete person and place you in my palace to accompany me at all times. At this moment, Dongli, who was thousands of miles away, had reached the most crucial moment. The darkness crystal used to create the darkness profound flame could not be too big, or else there would not be a profound flame of such a level. However, he did not dare to use too small of a darkness crystal. He was afraid that the darkness profound flame would not be enough to make Queen Hai Xian go into heat. However, the darkness crystal was so precious that it was impossible to have a large stockpile, let alone a large or small one. Therefore, Queen Hai Xian and Dongli mobilized hundreds of thousands of people to transport the seawater down from the Red Sea. Then, they mobilized hundreds of experts and hundreds of warlocks to extract the darkness crystal from the seawater. Hundreds of thousands of people worked for a day and a night. They extracted an extremely small darkness crystal. It was much smaller than the one that Yang Dingtian had swallowed. It was about 100 times smaller than the one in Yan Yan's body. This was the most suitable level of energy that he had calculated. Once he succeeded, it would mean that the darkness profound flame that Dongli had produced was about 100 times smaller than the one that Yang Dingtian had when it was born. This darkness crystal floated in front of him. Dongli suddenly summoned the profound flame and started to burn this thing. At the beginning, he carefully used less than 1,000th of the energy. The darkness crystal crazily swallowed the energy of the profound flame. Therefore, Dongli quickly increased the energy of the profound flame. The darkness crystal continued to swallow crazily. Dongli kept injecting profound qi into it. The energy of the profound flame became stronger and stronger. Finally, 15 minutes later, the energy of the profound flame and the darkness crystal reached a balance. As long as both parties perished together, the darkness profound flame would be born. Whether it was a success or a failure, it was now. Chapter 732. Finally, the dark crystal stopped devouring the mystic flame's energy and gradually changed color. Dongli almost held his breath, because an incomparably powerful Snakeman Empire was waving at him. The color of the dark crystal gradually changed from the black hole-like darkness to black. That's right, it only revealed its normal black color at this moment. The mystic flame continued to burn, and Dongli kept injecting mystic chi energy into the mystic flame. The dark crystal continued to change, from black to black-red. Then, it turned red again. Dongli did not know how Yang Dingtian and Wu Yuming reacted when they obtained the dark mystic flame. But at this moment, it was as if he had opened a secret door, and this door led to another world, the most mysterious and mysterious world. He almost felt suffocated, and was incomparably excited. The color of the dark crystal became redder and redder. Dongli was about to succeed, he was about to succeed. Finally, the dark crystal was red to the extreme, and was exactly the same color as the mystic flame. It was as if it was about to shatter and turn into ashes. Then, the dark crystal suddenly became very unstable, as if it was desperately struggling and bursting. Bang! The dark crystal, which had been heated to an extreme red, suddenly exploded. Then, a half-foot black hole suddenly appeared on Dongli's palm. As if he had seen the birth of history, Dongli's entire body was trembling. This scene was really too mysterious, too mysterious. Then, the black hole crazily devoured the energy in Dongli's body, and the mystic flame. Take it, take everything? Dongli was agitated, and his voice was shrill. The black hole kept devouring. It crazily devoured the mystic flame in Dongli's body, and then everything gradually became quiet. The black hole suddenly began to condense and condense. It became a dark crystal again, but this dark crystal seemed to be much bigger than the previous one, and its color seemed to be more dazzling. Dongli was stunned. Why did it change back? But at this time, this brand new darkness crystal suddenly cracked open, and a black flame came out of the crack, floating in the air. It was an extremely dark flame, but also an extremely beautiful flame. Dongli looked at the flame, his whole body trembling violently, and his hair stood on end. He did it. This darkness profound flame was 100 times bigger than the one that Yang Dingtian had created back then. He had successfully created the darkness profound flame, even though he was the third person in this world. However, this meant that he would have Queen Hai Xin and the incomparably powerful Naga Empire. How many years has it been? Dongli had been wandering in this grassland for many years for this goal. Now, he had finally succeeded. Wu Yuming should have taken control of the entire Tiando League, but he failed. What Dongli wanted to control was the even more powerful Naga Empire, and he succeeded. The entire East Parting Grassland would be his. The entire Snakeman Empire would be his. The peerless beauty, the devastatingly beautiful Queen Hai Xin, belonged to him from now on. Dongli held the darkness profound flame with both hands, resisting the urge to cry. Looking at her, he felt his eyes heating up. What a beautiful darkness profound flame. No wonder it could make the Naga clan go into heat, and no wonder it could make the Sky Fox clan go into heat. Dongli gently took back the darkness profound flame, and was about to swallow it into his chi-si. However, at this time, the darkness profound flame suddenly emitted an abnormal light, blue for a while, green for a while, red for a while, and then gray for a while. This newly born darkness profound flame suddenly became extremely unstable, and there seemed to be a lot of impurities that kept pouring out. Then, bang, the entire darkness profound flame suddenly exploded, and then completely turned into ashes and disappeared in the air. Dongli was stunned, completely stunned. What was going on? What the hell is going on? The darkness profound flame had clearly been born. Why did it disappear? Where is it? Dongli said in a trembling voice, and then desperately reached out his hand to feel in the air, trying to touch his darkness profound flame. My darkness profound flame, my darkness profound flame, where is it? Dongli shouted, and then rushed to Mudan, and said sternly, "Is it you? Is it you who swallowed my darkness profound flame? Is it you who stole my darkness profound flame?" Dongli almost went crazy, completely crazy. Heaven was so close to him, and now it suddenly kicked him into hell. But the darkness profound flame has already been extinguished. Princess Mudan said. "But impossible, impossible." Dongli said sternly. Mudan said, "It should be your profound flame, not strong enough, not pure enough." Dongli said sternly, "I have the earth profound flame, and the heaven profound flame. Is it still not enough? Is it still not enough?" Mudan said, "Yes, it's still not enough. Yu Ming has the heaven and earth profound flame, the great raging flame, and Yang Dingtian has the heaven and earth profound flame, the million spirits demonic flame. So, your profound flame's level is still not enough." But, Dongli shouted sternly, "Heaven, why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me?" After venting crazily for a full 15 minutes, Dongli calmed down and said, "Are there still those heaven and earth profound flames?" Mudan said, "There are two more, the second-ranked void-splitting flame, and the first-ranked chaos spirit flame." Dongli's eyes were burning, and his face was almost distorted. Where are they? "The void-splitting flame will bloom soon, at the end of the world, at the border of the void." Mudan said, "And this profound flame has been targeted by the demonic Fox clan, and they are determined to get it." Dongli said, "Although this void-splitting flame is precious, the demonic Fox clan is so powerful, they won't need it too much." Mudan said, "That's right, but the void-splitting flame's special attribute is to pass through space and jump through space. 200 years ago, because His Majesty the Demon King had this profound flame, he was able to avoid the end of being destroyed. The demonic Fox clan wants to use this void-splitting flame to jump into the ruins of the Naga Empire and find the boundless treasures." Suddenly, Dongli's eyes shrank, and then he said coldly, "I don't care what the demonic Fox clan thinks, but I must get this void-splitting flame." Mudan said lightly, "Originally, this profound flame was going to be given to Dongfang Bingling. But her soul is too restless, and this void-splitting flame is related to the real resurrection of His Majesty the Demon King, and it is very important. When swallowing the profound flame, it will cause an intense conflict of energy in the body, and it will easily give Dongfang Bingling a chance to take advantage of it. So, this profound flame can't be given to her, and giving it to you might be the real deal." Mudan and Dongfang Bingling obviously have the same body. But when talking about Bingling, he kept using the third person, as if it was another person. Then Mudan said, "Let's go, although it's bad news. But we have to tell Queen Hai Exen, now is not the time to anger her." Yang Dingtian looked at the empire's capital through the window of the main hall. "It's only been a year and a half. I really don't dare to imagine how you built such a huge pyramid, and the world's biggest city." Yang Dingtian said, "It's very simple. Just use your life to pile it up." Queen Hyexan said, "How many people died?" Yang Dingtian asked. "Tens of millions?" "I forgot." Queen Hyexan said carelessly, "Yang Dingen, do you know how good the demonic Fox clan is at giving birth? Also, do you know how cheap their lives are? They can live no matter how they raise them. Do you know how many children a demonic Fox clan gives birth to in a year? 3. That's right, 3. Because, for example, the werewolf clan, leopard clan, eagleman clan, and so on, there are many in a nest." Yang Dingtian understood that the demonic Fox clan's womb was not just a little stronger than the humans. Also, the babies of the demonic Fox clan were much stronger. Do you know why there is a great war in the Dongli grassland every few decades? Because of the explosion in population, there is no way to raise so many demonic Fox clans. Therefore, it has to be destroyed every once in a while. Hai Exen raised her hand and said, "Now, I built a defense line of tens of thousands of miles, cultivated the entire imperial capital, and built this pyramid." Countless demonic Fox clan died, equivalent to the number of people who died in more than 10 wars. Even so, do you know how many demonic Fox clans there are in the entire Dongli grassland? 290 million, you didn't hear wrong, 290 million, And they are still giving birth. Yang Dingtian also felt his scalp go numb. The total land of the entire Dongli grassland was probably less than the total land of the north, northwest, and southwest continents. However, the farming skills of the demonic fox clan were very ordinary. Queen Hai Xian continued, therefore, the construction of the imperial capital, the defense line, and all the major cities have been completed. What should we do? We can only start a war, we can only fight. 30 million, 50 million, 80 million. I will continuously transport the demonic fox clan army to the human countries. You can imagine the consequences when that time comes. Yang Dingtian's mouth twitched. 50 million, 80 million demonic fox clan army, that was equivalent to another legion of doom. Moreover, this number was not strange at all because the demonic fox clan was a soldier. Moreover, they did not need to bring rations with them when they fought. The only problem was how to transport this astronomical number of troops to the human countries. Hai Xian said, actually, the demonic fox clan has always been a huge threat to the human countries. However, these stupid tribes can never be united. They can never be unified. When they were at their most united, they were actually divided into a total of 19 factions. Now, they are all under my Snakeman Empire and have become one faction. Therefore, the good days of the humans are coming to an end. Queen Hai Xian walked in front of Yang Dingtian and gently caressed his face. She said in a hoarse voice, "Baby, it is not important whether there is a legion of doom or not. The end of the human countries will come no matter what." Then, she pulled out a dagger and placed it on Yang Dingtian's neck. She said gently, "My little lover, Dongli is outside the palace now and will come in soon. Therefore your death has come. But this is also good. You won't have to see the tragic end of the human world, right?" Then Queen Hai Xian gasped for breath and kissed Yang Dingtian. The golden dagger slowly sawed on Yang Dingtian's neck. Immediately, fresh blood gushed out. Die, die, die. Once you die, everything will be over, everything will be over. Hai Xian kissed Yang Dingtian again and again. The golden dagger in her hand kept sawing. Blood instantly dyed Yang Dingtian's entire back red and dripped on the soft carpet. At this moment, Dongli suddenly rushed in. Seeing this extremely strange scene, his eyes were about to burst. Fury, jealousy, insanity, and the raging flames burned Dongli completely in an instant. He even ignored that Hai Xian was about to cut off Yang Dingtian's head. He only saw that Yang Dingtian and Hai Xian were kissing intimately. Dongli couldn't bear it anymore. He immediately rushed up like lightning and slammed his palm, wanting to smash Yang Dingtian into meat paste and crush Yang Dingtian's bones. This was his woman. Yang Dingtian dared to violate her like this. He wanted to tear Yang Dingtian into pieces. Tear him into pieces. Bang! However, before his palm could strike at Yang Dingtian's back, Yang Dingtian's figure suddenly changed. Queen Hai Xian's jade-like hands suddenly slammed out. There was a loud noise. Dongli flew out directly. Then Queen Hai Xian said coldly, "Remember, this Yang Dingtian belongs to me, not you. You don't have the right to kill him. If anyone wants to kill him, it will be me. Do you understand?" "Yes, Your Majesty." He knelt on the ground. Hai Xian laughed and said, "Dongli, are you jealous?" Dongli said, "Yes, Your Majesty. I'm crazy jealous. It's burning my rationality." "No need to be jealous. Nothing really happened between me and Yang Dingtian." Queen Hai Xian laughed and said, "I can't let you kill him. I want to kill him with my own hands. However, I can let you see how he dies." Then, the dagger in Hai Xian's hand slashed slowly towards Yang Dingtian's neck. She wanted to completely cut off Yang Dingtian's head. Yang Dingtian smiled and said, "Your Majesty, you didn't even ask Dongli if he succeeded in creating the darkness mystic flame. You're too impatient." Hai Xian's eyes suddenly turned cold and said, "Dongli, did you succeed?" Dongli trembled violently. Then, he pressed his forehead tightly to the ground and said in a trembling voice, I didn't succeed. I failed." Chapter 733. What? Queen Hai Xian's face suddenly turned cold. She said angrily, how can it fail? Yang Dingtian succeeded. Wu Yuming succeeded. This is a theory that has been completely proven. This is an extremely simple matter. How can it fail? Dongli prostrated himself and said, because my mystic flame is not a heaven and earth mystic flame. It's not strong enough and not pure enough. Therefore, the darkness mystic flame that was born only existed for a moment before it disappeared. After hearing this, Hai Xian immediately fell into silence. This reason was very sufficient. The darkness mystic flame was so powerful and its energy level was so high. Its requirements must be very strict. It was reasonable that an earth mystic flame or even a heaven mystic flame could not give birth to the darkness mystic flame. Queen Hai Xian's hand suddenly stopped. She stopped cutting off Yang Dingtian's head. The golden dagger in her hand was really not an ordinary item. It was actually not stained with a single drop of blood. However, her jade-like hand was already dripping with blood. It was all Yang Dingtian's blood. Dongli's face was cold as he said, Your Majesty, actually Yang Dingun can still be killed. Because the second mystic flame in the world, the void-splitting flame, is about to bloom. The entire Temple of Annihilation will support me in obtaining this heaven and earth mystic flame. At that time, I will succeed. I will be able to nurture a mystic flame that is of a higher level than Yang Dingtian and Wu Yuming. At that time, I will be able to successfully make you pregnant. Queen Hai Xian did not speak. She only looked at Yang Dingtian's slightly mocking face. At this moment, her entire back was dripping with blood. Even her jade-like hand was covered in Yang Dingtian's blood. The smell of blood and the special energy aura caused Queen Hai Xian's mind to waver. The fire in the depths of her heart burned fiercely. It was almost impossible to suppress it. Queen Hai Xian used all her willpower to suppress the fire in her heart and said coldly, Who knows if you will succeed? If you fail, Yang Dingtian will be my only hope to give birth to a demigod. If I kill him, won't I destroy the Naga Empire's hope of unifying the world in the future? After that, Queen Hai Xian abruptly locked all the profound veins in Yang Dingtian's body, rendering him completely immobile and unable to circulate any profound energy. Men, imprison Yang Dingtian in the deepest dungeon at the bottom of the pyramid. Queen Hai Xian ordered. Immediately, 4 Snake Woman generals stepped forward and escorted Yang Dingtian as they flew towards the depths of the pyramid's prison. Then Queen Hai Xian said to Dongli, I'll give you one last chance. As long as you return successfully, I'll kill Yang Dingtian. Yes, Your Majesty. Dongli knelt and said. Hai Xian suddenly said, Why aren't you curious? I don't seem to have any interest in the second-ranked void-rending fire in the world. Dongli said, Your subject doesn't know. It's good that you don't know. Hai Xian said, But you must remember, since you people of the evil ways have made a move, you must have it. You must not let the Fox clan get it. You must not let them enter the ruins of the Naga Empire. Yes, Your Majesty. Dongli said in a trembling voice, The ruins of the Naga Empire will forever belong to Your Majesty. Queen Hai Xian waved her hand carelessly and said, Remember, this is your last chance. Before you return successfully, or before you fail, I will imprison Yang Dingtian. In the depths of the pyramid's dungeon, Yang Dingtian could not move at all. Moreover, there were 4 great Grandmaster Naga female generals guarding him. He did not know whether to laugh or cry. He was indeed rash. When he heard that Dongli might succeed in conquering the entire Naga tribe, he was hot-headed and immediately rushed out. In the end, Dongli failed and he became a prisoner. At this moment, Yang Dingtian was even more certain that he wasn't a wise and far-sighted person. A rational person would not take the risk. Moreover, he had underestimated Queen Hai Xian's desire for power. Of course, perhaps this was not the right way to put it. In fact, Yang Dingtian had always been wary of Queen Hai Xian. Therefore, after leaving Dongli Grassland, Yang Dingtian had always avoided contact with her. Even if it was to deal with Wolingzi, he had never asked Hai Xian for help. He had asked Dugushao for help many times, but he had never asked Hai Xian for help. Moreover, Yang Dingtian had once said that if he succeeded in impregnating Queen Hai Xan, it might be the time of his death. It could be seen that Yang Dingtian was still wise and could see everything clearly. However, his character was far from wise. He knew that if Dongli succeeded, he would die if he came to Dongli grassland. However, Yang Dingtian did not hesitate and came to Dongli grassland. He touched the deep wound on his neck and the blood all over his body. Even though he was mentally prepared, Yang Dingtian still didn't expect the Queen of the Sea Heart to have such a drastic change. She was actually so vicious and merciless that she didn't even try to avoid cutting off his head with her dagger. One must know that a year and a half ago, she still regarded him as her greatest benefactor. At that time, she did not know that Queen Poisa was already weak. She still thought that she was definitely going to die. She still thought that Yang Dingtian had not only helped her ascend to the throne, but also saved her life. Facing a man who had once moved her heart, who had once saved her life. She could even put aside her pride and kill him. She was indeed a cold-blooded hero, a creature of power. For power, she would kill anyone in the world that could be killed. Speaking of which, Yang Dingtian had seen many heroes. Qin Wanzhou was one, Zhu Qingzhu was another, Ning Wuming and Wu Yuming could all be counted. Each of these four people was an ambitious and ruthless person. They were all outstanding talents. Whether it was their willpower, wisdom, or methods, they were all top-notch. Yang Dingtian was far from them. However, none of them could be as thorough as Hai Xan. Ning Wuming was infatuated, while Wu Yuming was obsessed. Qin Wanzhou's hero attribute had a little bit of naivety and fantasy, as well as a little bit of persistence. In Zhu Qingzhu's hero attribute, he desperately wanted to inject a heroic spirit. Perhaps it was because he had knelt down in the soul-leaving palace decades ago, so he desperately wanted to straighten his back. However, there was no one who was as thorough as Hai Xan. She was the only one that Yang Dingtian had seen. For power, she exiled all the rebels that she relied on as her confidants. She exiled all the female disciples that she treated as her own daughters, cut off all the female members of the Snake People race, and purged all the confidants of Queen Poisa. She was a truly emotionless person. For power and to achieve her goals, she would not hesitate to get rid of anyone in the world. To be honest, Yang Dingtian had once been soft-hearted towards Hai Xan. He had promised to help Queen Poisa regain her position. When he was strong enough, he would get rid of Queen Hai Xan. However, he had once hesitated whether or not he should kill Hai Xan when the time came. Now, it seemed that Hai Xan had to be killed without a doubt. Such a creature of power would only bring harm to the world. Of course, Yang Dingtian still had to think of a way to escape from here first. He had to escape. Because there were only 6 days left from the time that Yao Li had given him. Within 6 days, if he did not return to Cloud Sky City, then something would happen. Something big would happen. At that time, Yao Li, that racist psychopath, would forcefully take Yao Rao and Yang Yi away. If Yao Rao did not obey, then a tragedy would happen. Furthermore, it would not only affect Yao Rao, but the entire Cloud Sky City. Although that bastard Yao Li was not a villain, he looked down on humans. If he went berserk and started a massacre in Cloud Sky City, that would be the most terrifying thing. To him, killing a few humans was like eating a river or stepping on ants. There was no psychological burden. But how could he get out? His entire body's mystic meridians were locked. He could not move at all, nor could he circulate his mystic chi. He could not even open his mouth to speak. Furthermore, he was a few thousand meters under the pyramid. Who knew how many Grandmaster Realm experts were guarding the pyramid? There were even 4 at the entrance of the prison. From the looks of it, it was impossible to escape. However, as long as he could recover his mystic chi, it would not be difficult to escape. That was because he had Wu Maji's demonic spirit mist cloak in his spatial ring. Furthermore, he had the invisibility mystic skill. He might not be able to escape from under Hai Xan's nose, but escaping from a group of Grandmaster Realm experts would be a piece of cake. Therefore, the key was to recover his mystic chi. How should he recover his mystic chi? Hai Xian used an extremely powerful energy to lock Yang Dingtian's mystic meridians, causing his mystic qi to be unable to circulate. Then he would need an extremely powerful or high-grade energy to break through these seals. Without a doubt, Yang Dingtian possessed this energy. Lightning energy could ignore any defense and could instantly tear apart these energy seals. Therefore, he only needed to release lightning from his energy vessel into his mystic meridians. To be precise, it was to create a lightning mystic skill within Yang Dingtian's mystic meridians. However, the problem was that the connection between Yang Dingtian's energy vessel and mystic meridians had been completely sealed by Hai Xian. In other words, Yang Dingtian's energy vessel had been isolated. Yang Dingtian could not feel his own energy vessel, nor could he control his energy vessel. Now, the only way was to rely on the soul of Queen Poisa in Yang Dingtian's mind. Let her think of a way to enter his energy vessel. Yang Dingtian would make use of her consciousness to control the mystic flame, create lightning, and break through the seal of his mystic meridians. At this moment, although he couldn't move his body, speak, or even blink his eyes, he still couldn't move his body. However, he could still think in his mind. Shasha shasha. Yang Dingtian began to wake up the sleeping Queen Poisa in his mind. At this moment, Ling Wu and Wu Yuming had just entered the Snake People Empire of the Dongli Prairie. The day before yesterday, Ling Wu had devoured her first mystic flame in the Devil region. Although it was only an Earth-grade mystic flame, it still allowed her to break through from a 2nd-grade Grandmaster to a 4th-grade Grandmaster. Next, Wu Yuming would bring her to devour her 2nd mystic flame. It was still an Earth-grade mystic flame. For the past 100 years, Wu Yuming was like an invisible person who walked in every corner of the world. There was no one in the world who was clearer than him about the various types of mystic flames. Therefore, a mystic flame required thousands of miles of continents to nurture. Some bloomed once every few decades, while some bloomed once every 100 or 200 years. To others, these mystic flames were incomparably precious and rare. However, to Wu Yuming, these mystic flames were not too rare. At least, he had devoured a heaven and earth-grade mystic flame and 7 to 8 other mystic flames by himself. Therefore, in the next few years, he would bring Ling Wu along and travel the world. He would give all the earth-grade mystic flames and heaven-grade mystic flames that he knew of to Ling Wu. This way, Ling Wu would be able to walk in front of a 2nd-grade evil spirit forever until she defeated the 2nd-grade evil spirit. This 2nd mystic flame was located in a poisonous miasma forest at the northwest corner of the Dongli Prairie. Other than Wu Yuming, there was probably no one else who knew about it. This earth-grade mystic flame bloomed once every 50 years. In about 3 months, it would bloom. However, on the way to the poisonous miasma forest, Wu Yuming and Ling Wu met Princess Mudan. Were you the ones who told Yang Dingtian about Dongli creating the darkness mystic flame and wanting to conquer Queen Hai Xian? Mudan asked as she looked at Ling Wu coldly. Yes. Wu Yuming said indifferently, "What's wrong?" "Nothing." Mudan said coldly, "Wu Yuming, before His Majesty makes a decision on you, I won't do anything to you. However, Dongli will go and devour the void-splitting flame soon. I hope you won't cause any trouble." "I'm not interested," Wu Yuming said indifferently. Mudan said, "Actually, by telling Yang Dingtian about Dongli, you've harmed him instead. He's already imprisoned and his death is not far away." After saying that, Mudan flew away and disappeared without a trace. Ling Wu trembled and looked at Wu Yuming immediately. Wu Yuming said with a bitter expression, "Little Wu, Yang Dingtian is my enemy. It's fine if I don't kill him. You can't be thinking of asking me to save him, right? Do you have to be so absurd?" Ling Wu's face drooped. Chapter 734. Big Brother, I feel that Yang Dingtian being imprisoned by Queen Hai Xian is actually our responsibility, right? Ling Wu said. Wu Yuming frowned. Ling Wu continued, "Say it. If I didn't tell Yang Dingtian about this matter, he wouldn't have come to the Dongli grasslands. If he didn't come to the Dongli grasslands, he wouldn't have been captured, right?" Wu Yuming nodded. Ling Wu said, Besides, isn't there still half a year before the second Earth-grade mystic flame in the poisonous miasma forest? During this period of time, we'll be idle anyway. Wu Yuming nodded and said, "Little Wu, I feel that what you've said is very reasonable. However, can you give me a reason to save Yang Dingtian?" Ling Wu thought for a while but was unable to think of a reason. Wu Ming said, "Besides, little Wu, you women are too fickle. Previously, you and Yang Dingtian were at loggerheads and did your best to help me deal with him. Now you want to save him again. In short, you really need to give me a sufficient reason." Ling Wu thought for a while and said, "The first reason is that this matter has sufficiently proved that we have to care less about Yang Dingtian's matters in the future. Otherwise, new problems will arise. Therefore, we have to restore the entire matter to its original state and save Yang Dingtian. It just so happens that we'll cancel each other out. After all, it's because of us, Yang Dingtian, that he was imprisoned." Wu Yuming thought for a while and said, "This can be considered as a reason. However, it's still not enough. Is there a second reason?" Ling Wu said, "The second reason is that when I think of Yang Dingtian needing me to save him one day, I feel delighted." "Alright." Wu Yuming said, "This reason is sufficient. Let's go. Let's go and save him. However, let's make it clear that I won't meet him." Ling Wu nodded her head vigorously and flew towards the capital of the Snakemen Empire. Suddenly, she opened her mouth and said, "That's right, big brother. Will you be in danger if you go up against Queen Hai Exin? She is very powerful." Wu Yuming sighed. "Don't worry, silly girl. We won't meet Hai Exin." Ling Wu asked, "Why? Wu Yuming said, "Princess Mudan will help us lure Hai Exin away. Why do you think she came to us? She wants us to save Yang Dingtian. No matter the reason, she doesn't want Yang Dingtian to die." Ling Wu was stunned. Queen Poise's consciousness energy easily passed through the other profound veins and reached the entrance of the energy sea. However, there was another problem. Its spiritual energy could not enter the Qi Sea. Under normal circumstances, only the pure profound energy used for cultivation could enter from the outside. Furthermore, the spiritual energy wrapped in primal chaos profound energy could enter the Qi Sea. At this moment, the connection between the profound veins and the Qi Sea was completely blocked. Yang Dingtian's primal chaos profound energy was basically unable to come out from the Qi Sea. It was also basically unable to bring Queen Poise's spiritual energy into the Qi Sea. Queen Poise's spiritual energy could not enter the Qi Sea. Therefore, it was unable to create lightning within her body and break through Queen Hai Exion's energy seal. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian was completely at his wit's end. Immediately, Poise's spiritual energy was knocking around the entrance of Yang Dingtian's Qi Sea in a panic. However, it was completely useless. Yang Dingtian was burning with anxiety, yet he was completely at his wit's end. Could it be that he was really going to be trapped here alive? Was he going to watch helplessly as Yao Li took Yao Rao and Yang Yi away? No, he absolutely couldn't. Even if he had to die, he couldn't. He had to get out immediately, Yang Dingtian's brain was working at lightning speed as he tried to find a way to escape. However, no matter what he thought of, it was all to no avail. Once the Qi Sea was completely sealed, then nothing could be done. Furthermore, Yang Dingtian could not move at all. Even if he wanted to wake up Naga Aoshuang in the spatial ring, it was completely impossible. Think. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian thought of an idea. Put yourself in a situation of death and then come back to life. That's right, this was truly putting yourself in a situation of death and then coming back to life. It was an absolutely dangerous move. Let his brain sink into the deepest meditation and then directly die in the meditation world. At that time, the brain would really think that he was dead and would stop all control of his body. At that time, the darkness profound flame in the Qi Sea would desperately try to save him and wake him up. This was the profound flame's instinct. Saving its master was equivalent to saving itself. These energy seals were nothing in front of the darkness profound flame. It could easily break through them. However, this was completely dependent on Yang Dingtian's own theory. There was still no proof. And once it failed, Then, although Yang Dingtian was not really dead, it was no different from being dead. He would sink into the deepest meditation and be lost forever. Yang Dingtian carefully thought about this method and theory. No matter how he thought about it, he felt that it was extremely absurd. No matter how he thought about it, he felt that there was only a slim chance of survival. But at this time, there was already no other way. Clenching his teeth, Yang Dingtian was going to try out this absurd theory that didn't have any support. At this moment, whoosh! Suddenly, a black shadow flashed and entered. It was actually Viper Z. Yang Dingtian easily recognized that it was Viper Z through her eyes. Yang Dingtian looked at her in astonishment. "Don't look at me like that. Although I have already lost the most important thing to me, so I can't transform or give birth to offspring," Viper Z said in a low voice. "But after all, I have once been aroused. To the snake people, an instant is a lifetime. Other than the instinct to give birth to offspring, there is also the affection in the heart. I will kill the other 3 snake people female generals and save you." Yang Dingtian was completely unable to move. He desperately wanted to shake his head. Kuei Zi wanting to save him was completely a fool's dream. How many snake people experts were there in this pyramid? And as long as Queen Hai Xian was here, Kuei Zi would not be able to save him. Instead, he would lose his life. "Don't worry, Queen Hai Xian is not here. She has left," Viper Z said. "But she has locked your profound veins. I can't undo it. You can only go back and think of a way yourselves." Yang Dingtian was unable to speak or move. He could only stare at Viper Z with all his might to stop her. If she wanted to take him away like this, she would definitely die. However, Viper Z could not read Yang Dingtian's eyes at all. She directly grabbed him and was about to rush out. Yang Dingtian was burning with anxiety. He desperately said to Queen Poisa in his mind, Sha, think of a way. Quickly think of a way to stop her. Otherwise, she will die and I won't be able to get out." Don't worry. Queen Poisa said. I have a way. Then, Queen Poisa's consciousness suddenly poured into Yang Dingtian's eyes. In an instant, the light in Yang Dingtian's eyes changed. His pupils shrank. In an instant, his eyes emitted a strange light like those of the snake people. Viper Z was stunned. She looked at Yang Dingtian's eyes in disbelief. Then, the light in Yang Dingtian's eyes kept changing. This was the unique communication method of the snake people. In fact, before the snake people turned into human form, when they were still in snake form, they communicated with each other either by shaking their tails or by swallowing and spitting. The most secretive and high-level communication was through the communication of the light in their eyes. Especially when 2 snakes were in heat, their eyes were always tightly locked, conveying incomparably rich information. "If you save me like this, you will die too." Yang Dingtian used Queen Poisa's special communication method to communicate with Viper Z. "I'm not afraid of death," Viper Z said. "Anyway, I'd rather die than live now. My future hope has all been destroyed. No, not only will you die like this, but you can't save me at all." After Hai X and left, there are many other snake people masters in the Pyramid Palace. Viper Z said, "I don't care. In short, I have to try. Even if I rely on her, I can't save Viper Mo and the others. I might as well die like this. Listen to me. Think of a way to undo the seal on my profound veins. I can escape on my own, and you won't be in danger." Yang Dingtian said. Viper Z said, "I'm sorry. I can't undo Queen Hai Xian's energy seal unless it's a half-saint expert." Yang Dingtian fell into deep thought. Now that Viper Z was here, he could think of a way. There must be a way. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian's eyes lit up. "That's right, I got it." Yang Dingtian immediately asked Queen Poisa, "Do you have darkness crystals? Think of a way to get some, just a little bit." "I have," Viper Z said. Yang Dingtian couldn't help but be stunned. Why would Viper Z carry darkness crystals with her? Then, Viper Z suddenly pulled out her sword. At the tip of the sword, there was indeed a very small darkness crystal. Queen Poisa actually let her subordinates embed the darkness crystal in their weapons. What was she planning to do? Wouldn't a large portion of profound energy be devoured by the darkness crystal during battle? But no matter what, it was good to have the darkness crystal. Moreover, this one was so small that it was almost the same as the one in Yanyan's body. It couldn't be seen with the naked eye. Viper Z used the bloody black gold dagger to scrape off the darkness crystal. She placed it in her palm and said, "What should we do now?" "Put it in my mouth and pour water down it," Yang Ding Tian said. Immediately, Viper Z was stunned. This darkness crystal was the most terrifying thing in the world. Could it be eaten? "Don't worry, I've eaten all the darkness crystals that are tens of thousands of times bigger than this one," Yang Ding Tian said. Then, Viper Z worriedly fed the darkness crystal, along with the sword tip, into Yang Dingtian's mouth. The instant that the tiny darkness crystal entered Yang Dingtian's body. Boom! The black-green mystic flame in his Qi Si seemed to have seen something extremely delicious, and it suddenly woke up. Then, like a demon, a flame tentacle quickly stretched out from the abyss of his Qi Si, and suddenly rushed out of the Qi Si, and instantly swallowed up the energy of this dark crystal completely. And Haixian's seal on the exit of his energy sea was instantly shattered without any effort. And after that black-green profound flame devoured the extremely smiling darkness crystal, it immediately dived back into the depths of his energy sea and continued to sleep. After the exit of his energy sea was unsealed, Yang Dingtian easily let some of the primal chaos attribute in Yang profound flame overflow from his energy sea. Then, it lightly collided with his profound veins. Pa, extremely smiling lightning abruptly burst forth from within his profound veins. In an instant, all the seals were smashed to pieces. It was still the same saying, no matter how small the lightning energy was, it could completely ignore any energy defense. In an instant, Yang Dingtian completely recovered his profound energy and regained his mobility. Then he took out the devil spirit mist robe from his spatial ring and quickly put it on. Then he took out another set of clothes and put them on, finally avoiding the embarrassment of being completely naked. "Viper Z, come with me. Come with me to the human kingdom?" Yang Dingtian asked. Viper Z desperately shook her head and said, "No, if I leave, Viper Mo and the others will be dead for sure." "Where are they?" "Take me to them." Yang Dingan said, "And Huang Yu and Day by Day Bella? Where are they?" "No, you can't go see them. If you don't go see them, they might not die for a while. If you go see them, they will definitely die," Viper Z said. Yang Dingtian thought for a moment and immediately understood this logic. If Yang Dingtian escaped alone, Haixian might be very angry, but she would definitely not vent her anger on Viper Mo and Huang Yu. But if Yang Dingtian went to see them, then they would definitely die for sure. Moreover, the current Yang Dingtian did not have the ability to save all of them. At this time, the snake people race was already filled with experts. Oh right, why did Queen Haixian's cultivation advance by leaps and bounds? How did the experts of your snake people race become so powerful? Yang Dingtian asked. "I remember that you were only a 9-star grandmaster before. In just 1.5 years, you actually became a 9-star great grandmaster." Viper Z's expression changed and she said, "It's a kind of evil technique that devours the energy of living people. It's a kind of evil technique of the snake people race. All the snake people race who oppose her are all energy providers. All the opponents of the half-human race are all energy offerings. She has already devoured countless experts of the half-human race. She can transform a person's life into a very powerful and precious energy." "Then Huang Yu and Xiang, will they be okay? What about Viper Mo and the others?" Yang Dingtian asked. "Huang Yu and Xiang have been completely exiled." Viper Z said, "I don't know where Viper Mo is imprisoned. The reason why I'm relying on her is to save Viper Mo. However, I still can't find where they are imprisoned." "Then leave with me," Yang Dingnan said, "otherwise, you'll die here." "No, if I leave, Viper Mo will be completely hopeless." Viper Z said, "Moreover, if I leave, it'll be equivalent to betraying my sisters. But if you don't leave, Haixian will definitely suspect you. She'd rather kill the wrong person than let you go," Yang Dingtian said. Right at this moment. Bang! Suddenly, the thick golden door was scorched through. Then, Ling Wu rushed in and said, Yang Ding, we're here to save you. Yang Ding Tian was stunned. What's going on? Chapter 735. Yang Ding Tian and Ling Wu had merely met face to face. The moment she saw Yang Dingan, Ling Wu was stunned and said, So you're fine. Then aren't we unnecessary? Yang Ding Tian had never dreamt that Ling Wu would come to save him. Even if he had opened a hole in his brain, he would never have thought of this outcome. Ah no, Ling Wu. I'm really happy to see you here. Yang Dingan hurriedly said, Thank you. Oh? Ling Wu looked at Viper Z, who was beside Yang Ding Tian, with a somewhat complicated expression. She pursed her lips and said, But you're really amazing. No matter where you are, there are peerless beauties who are willing to sacrifice their lives for you. Moreover, there's no distinction between races. I'm ashamed. Yang Dingtan said embarrassedly, Oh right, Brother Netherworld is here too? Ling Wu had just finished speaking when she let out a low cry. This was because Wu Yuming had disappeared without a trace in an instant. In any case, he had said before that he would absolutely not meet Yang Ding Tian face to face. Then, I'll be leaving too. Ling Wu said. No. Take care. Yang Ding Tian said. Then, he said to Viper Z, Are you really not going to return to the human countries with me? Viper Z shook her head vigorously and said, I want to stay and think of a way to save Viper Mo and the rest. Remember, you must never come back before you're strong enough. After leaving this place, you must return to the human continent directly. You must never look for Xiang and Huang Yu. If you don't look for them, they won't die. If you do, they'll definitely die. Moreover, there's a large group of them. It's impossible for you to bring all of them away. Yang Ding Tian nodded vigorously. Then he said to Ling Wu, I'll have to trouble Brother Netherworld to make a move and knock this Viper Z out. Don't let her arouse Queen Hai Xian's suspicion. Ling Wu was stunned for a moment. After that, she nodded her head. Yang Ding Tian stepped forward and gently hugged her. Help me tell Brother Netherworld that I also thank him. Whoosh. Then, Yang Ding Tian instantly flashed and disappeared without a trace. On top of the pyramid, Wu Yuming was carrying dozens of Naga experts by herself. After breaking through to the half-saint realm, he was so awesome. He was able to take on dozens of top experts with ease. Brother Netherworld, Yang Ding Tian floated in the air and shouted out loudly. Wu Yuming suddenly flashed and appeared in the dungeon at the bottom of the pyramid. In any case, he and Yang Ding Tian were kings who would never meet another king. Let's go. Let's see what you found for me. Wu Yuming grabbed onto Ling Wu's arm and was about to disappear without a trace. Wait, Ling Wu said. Big brother, Yang Ding Tian asked us to help him knock out his Naga lover. Fuck. Wu Yuming couldn't bear it any longer. He, who never used vulgarities, had finally cursed. Viper Z smiled embarrassedly at him and said, You're Yang Ding Tian's friend. Before she could finish her words, Wu Yuming suddenly struck her with his palm and knocked her unconscious. He didn't want to hear what she was going to say next. Looking at the other 3 Naga corpses on the ground, he suddenly struck out with his palm. The corpses were instantly smashed into pieces and turned into ashes. Then he grabbed onto Ling Wu's arm and flashed and disappeared without a trace. He headed towards the northwest direction. Little Wu, don't look for me again if something like this happens next time. Wu Yuming said hatefully. What the hell was going on? Yang Ding Tian vaguely knew where Huang Yu should be. It was the sacred valley that Hai Exen had led the rebel army to defend back then. Wearing the Devil Spirit Mist cloak, he quickly arrived at the sky above the sacred valley. Sure enough, Yang Ding Tian saw a large group of people here. They were living the most difficult life in the sacred valley. Not far from the sacred valley was the huge defensive line of the Naga Empire. There were also hundreds of thousands of soldiers. Day by day Bella, Xiang, and Huang Yu were all in the sacred valley. They weren't part of the rebel army yet. Instead, they were considered exiles and people who didn't associate themselves with evil deeds. The reason why they were living here was to show that they had completely broken off their relationship with Queen Hai Xen. There were only hundreds of thousands of people in the entire Sacred Valley. Yang Dingtian didn't go down to see them. Just like what Viper Z had said, Hai Xen could tolerate Huang Yu and the others breaking off their relationship with her. She didn't care about their little bit of strength at all. But once Yang Dingtian came into contact with them, Hai Xen wouldn't be able to tolerate it and would directly destroy everyone in the Sacred Valley. Therefore, Yang Dingtian couldn't go to see them. He saw this group of rebels struggling to gather trees and dig out roots for food. They were struggling to survive, and they no longer had any strength to resist. Taking a deep breath in the air, Yang Dingtian looked for Huang Yu in the crowd. She was wearing coarse clothes and leading a group of young and strong people to build a house, a kind of permanent house. It was as if she was ready to settle down here for the rest of her life. Yang Dingtian suppressed the urge to rush down to meet her and said in his heart, "Huang Yu, wait for me. Dongli Grassland, wait for me." When Yang Dingtian was strong enough, he would return to Dongli Grassland. At that time, Queen Hai Xen would die and Queen Poisa would be resurrected. There were still 5 days before the appointed time with Yao Li. It was more than enough. In the next 5 days, Yang Dingtian would have to deal with Yao Li wholeheartedly. No matter what, he couldn't let Yao Li take Yao Rao and Yang Yi away. Yang Dingtian met up with Demon Eagle King Aja in the south of Dongli Grassland. Then, he rode Aja back to Cloud Sky City at a speed of 2,000 miles per hour. 8 hours later, Yang Dingtian entered the sky above the northwest continent. At this time, he saw groups of winged cavalry from the Council of Light flying toward the sea in the west. On the sea, the ships of the Northwest Qin City fleet were densely packed. They left the port and sailed toward the sea in the west. Yang Dingtian's heart skipped a beat. What happened? There was actually such a big military operation. He didn't come down to ask. Instead, he continued to fly back to Cloud Sky City at a height of more than 10,000 meters. Along the way, Yang Dingtian saw countless winged cavalry. There were at least tens of thousands of them. They were constantly rising from the Northwest Qin City and flying toward the west. It wasn't just the Northwest Qin City. There were also winged cavalry from Cloud Sky City. Even the winged cavalry from the World Society in the north were constantly flying toward the sea in the west. Something must have happened. Something big must have happened. Otherwise, the Northwest Qin City fleet wouldn't have made such a big move. The Qin City fleet was specialized in defending against the Snake People Empire. Normally, they wouldn't be deployed. Now, they were almost out in full force. Along the way, Yang Dingtian saw close to 100,000 winged cavalry. What he didn't see was that the Council of Light's Air Force in the West Continent was almost out in full force. They were all flying toward the sea in the west as if they were searching for something. Something must have happened. Something big must have happened. Yang Dingtian desperately flew in the direction of Cloud Sky City. As soon as he entered the sky above Cloud Sky City, his master, Dongfang Minmi, came to greet him. At this time, almost all the Grandmaster experts of the Council of Light were out in full force in the sky above Cloud Sky City. There were more than 10 top experts floating in the sky above Cloud Sky City, guarding in every direction. "Master, what happened?" Yang Dingtian asked. "You have to be mentally prepared," Dongfang Minmi said solemnly. Yang Dingtian nodded vigorously. Yao Rao and Yang Yi were captured. Your master's wife was seriously injured. Dongfang Minmi said, at that time, there were almost no experts in the entire Cloud Sky City. Your master's wife had the highest cultivation. Also, almost all the winged cavalry warriors in Cloud Sky Castle were killed. In an instant, Yang Dingtian's brain almost exploded. Endless fury, towering fury, almost surged out of him. All of the blood rushed to his brain, as if it was going to explode his blood vessels. Shameless Yao Li. You clearly said that you would give me 10 days. Now there are only 5 days left. You actually took advantage of my absence to do this. Extremely shameless. Extremely vicious and evil. And Yao Rao actually regarded you as a brother. She even trusted you so much. Yao Li, You deserve to die 10,000 times for your crimes. Yao Li, I will definitely tear you to pieces, tear you to pieces. Yang Dingtian said word by word, gnashing his teeth. Dongfang Minmi said with a complicated expression, No, little Tian. It wasn't him? Yang Dingtian was stunned. Dongfang Minmi said, He is already dying. He is desperately hanging on to his last breath to see you one last time. It was Little Western Paradise who came and took Yao Rao and Yang Yi away. At that time, we were all not there. If Yao Li didn't save them, your master's wife would also be dead. Even the entire Cloud Sky City would be finished. Suddenly, Yang Dingtian was completely stunned. His heart was completely shaken. That almost pathological racist almost sacrificed his own life in order to save Yao Rao and Yang Yi, in order to save his master's wife? Yang Dingtian immediately rushed into the valley of Cloud Sky City. Dongfang Minmi hurriedly chased after him. Where's master's wife? Yang Dingtian asked anxiously. No, let's go and see Yao Li first. Can die at any time, Dongfang Minmi said. Yang Dingtian saw Yao Li. At this time, he was no longer as handsome as before. His whole person was like a completely torn toy. There were countless wounds all over his body. All of the wounds were blue in color. Moreover, there was not a single trace of blood on the wounds all over his body. His incomparably handsome face had almost turned into a lump of charcoal. Only his 2 eyes were still visible. Yang Dingtian's heart shook violently. Tears almost gushed out of his eyes. This person whom he viewed as an enemy, whom he schemed against, was now living a life worse than death in order to save his wife. This racist, who he scolded as a retard, used his own way to express his pride. Yang Dingtian immediately took out one of the few holy water pills he had and was about to feed it to him. However, he realized that he no longer had a mouth. Who was so cruel? How could he be so cruel to his own kind? No need. You monkeys' pills are useless to us noble silver dragon bloodline bearers. Yao Li's voice, to be precise, directly sounded in Yang Dingtian's mind. Even at this point, he still kept on calling them monkeys, monkeys. However, when Yang Dingtian heard it, he only felt his eyes burning. My body is already dead. My soul is also about to die. I only left a little bit of consciousness, so I can still communicate with you. Yao Li said, as a man, it is the greatest shame to not be able to protect your own woman. Many years ago, I was unable to protect Yao Rao and let her leave Little Western Paradise. Now, I am still unable to protect her and let her fall into the hands of the devil. I am not qualified to be called a man. Yang Dingtian clenched his teeth desperately. If this person in front of him could not be called a man, then no one in this world could be called a man. Although I look down on you monkeys, but I can't find another person to entrust her to. Yao Li said, so, the responsibility of protecting the mother and child will be yours. You have to go to Little Western Paradise and save Yao Rao and that child. Since I am dead, then let her remarry to you. Although you are only a human monkey, but it is still better than the devil. Who is it? Who is the devil? Yang Dingtian asked. Yao Qi. Yao Li said, this despicable usurper, this sinister and vicious schemer, this schemer who is trying to dominate the entire Little Western Paradise. Your son is the only successful descendant of the demigod clan. He will definitely marry Yao Rao and force her to become Yang Yi's father. Then, he will take the opportunity to rule the world and end the Tribal Alliance Conference in Little Western Paradise. How is his cultivation? Yang Dingtian asked. No. Yao Li said sternly, don't think about defeating him directly. You are only a human monkey. It is impossible. You have to use schemes. Moreover, he is trying to obtain the Void Fire so that he can jump into the Naga Empire. He wants to monopolize the ruins and treasures of the entire Naga Empire. Then, Yao Li said coldly, next, you must remember everything that I am going to say. Do not miss a single word. Yang Dingtian nodded vigorously. Yao Li said, because we in Little Western Paradise have the bloodline of the fallen silver dragon, we can reincarnate again after death. our soul imprints can be truly reincarnated and reincarnated again. However, we can also choose not to reincarnate and turn into a silver dragon blood crystal. After that, I won't reincarnate anymore. This silver dragon blood crystal is for you. After you swallow it, as long as you conceal it, you will possess the characteristics of a silver dragon bloodline possessor. Then, you can sneak into the Little Western Paradise and wait for an opportunity to save Yao Rao and kill Yao Qi. How do I kill him? Yang Ding Tian asked. Void fire, use void fire. My time is up. Yao Li said with a trembling voice. Think of a way to swallow my silver dragon blood crystal. Then, Yao Li died completely. His entire body gradually shrunk into a small, charred fox. Then, a silver energy crystal slowly floated up from his body. This was the bloodline that the fallen silver dragon had left for Little Western Paradise. It was the energy source of all the races in Little Western Paradise. Yao Li, the racist who looked down on humans the most, did not choose to reincarnate. He completely gave up on his life and gave the silver dragon blood crystal to Yang Dingtian, who he hated the most. Happy New Year, everyone! You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.